Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan.
With his boy Marcelo, America's #1 hype man, bringing you the action, desire, and the news.
100%, 100% passion, 100% raw. That's what you get off this channel, baby. Let's go. But today we'll be bringing you a Tottenham versus Wolfsberg preview. We'll be talking about the morning headlines. Basically, does Jose have 4 games to save his job, and can he do it? We'll also be talking about the players basically crying, that they've been given days off, believe it or not. They've actually been given days off, even though they were crying about Poch's rigorous training routine, the double sessions. You know what I mean? And now, and then we're also going to talk about what was it? Oh yeah, we're also going to talk about basically, about this whole Jose situation. It's one that needs to be sorted. But look, we'll kick it off. We'll just welcome a few people to the stream first. We have ATX7 Gaming, big up. Shamu Van Schlong, big yourself up, man. THFC Gaming. We also have Matt Hayes. Big up, Matt, by the way. That's Tottenham. We also have Mansa, and we also have Blade. Big up, everybody. Basically, for tomorrow's game, lads. Look, for tomorrow's game, we are doing a watch along on Matty Hayes' channel, so make sure you tune in for that. Matty, if you want to put in the group chat what time we'll be starting at for people to tune in while you're watching. And look, to everybody, sorry, I know it's very late in the evening, but honestly, I don't have time tomorrow to do a few things before I get onto the watch along. So that's why we're bringing it to you now. But Marcelo, the rumours are over the last, yesterday morning, this morning, that Jose Mourinho basically has 4 games to save his job. What do you make of that?
I mean, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I was surprised I didn't see the whole the sacked news from Sky Sports after the West Ham. I think you and I were both convinced that he was gonna be sacked after that game. Just how toxic it was and everything was going. But listen, he does have to turn it around, man. He does. I am Jose in, but it is tough. He has to turn it around. Look at that, the Irish Hotspur.
Just everybody, that's not me in the comments. We already know who it is. It's look, I don't really want to out his name, but look, you know who you are. Stop it. Stop it. I've already blocked yourself so many others. Stop what you're doing, or I will out you. It's not a problem. We can go down that line. But sorry, Marcelo, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that is terrible. People copycat account shouldn't be doing that. We all know who he is, but look, he does have to turn it around, man. And Burnley, Crystal Palace, Fulham, these are games where realistically we should be winning. You know what I mean? Fulham are a team on a little bit of form right now. So is Crystal Palace. Look, listen, basically every team we're going to be facing has better form than us right now. But we have to turn it around against those teams. We have to win those games. And with Wolfsberg game practically dead, I think Jose should go easier. Although I've been hearing the news that he's going with a strong lineup to kill off the game.
Yeah, that's what he said.
But he's a crazy man, bro. Like I said, I think he's going all eggs out on Europa, man, because he doesn't care about top 4. He does not care about for him. The thing is with Jose, and I admire his mentality, because for him it's, if I can't get the Premier League, the #1 spot, right, I might as well just find avenues where I can get Champions League but win a trophy. That's his method. Like, he wants to win a trophy regardless, no matter what. And for him, Europa is it, and I think that's where he's going, man. But he has to win those games, because the atmosphere is just going to get too toxic. I think a win over Wolfsburg won't be enough, and he has to beat Burnley, he has to beat Crystal Palace, and he has to beat Fulham or else I think Levy will give him the axe. I think Levy will. Although, what's interesting is who will we get at this point of the season? Because I think the reports are, if Nagelsmann does come in, it's in the summer. But you know what I mean? Will we get an interim manager? Would that even be worth it?
Let me already, how I'd say.
But let me ask you this: would that even be worth it? You know what I mean? Would that even be worth it? It doesn't even make any sense. So for me, it's just okay, just wait until the summer. well, like I've always been saying, I mean, people think I'm Jose sexual. I've just said, wait until the summer, see what he does, and if he wins trophies, he gets a year. You know what I mean? If he gets Champions League football and wins trophies, he gets to stay. But if he doesn't, I can understand the sack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, look, for me, I actually think if it comes to Burnley and we don't beat them, I do think his job is untenable.
Yeah.
And as much as it kills me to say that, look, if the players aren't playing for him, ultimately it's the cheapest way is to get rid of the manager. So, and the
Yeah.
manager usually at a football club always carries the can. So for me, I think I think if we don't beat Burnley, I think that could be the end of it. But honestly, do I think it's right? No.
No,
But look, it is what it is. But we'll just take
this makes
Matty
no
Hayes here.
sense.
This is the real me tonight, by the way. I'll be. It'll be at 3:45 start tomorrow. And of course, me and Marcelo will be taking this one again. Well, actually, sorry, I'll actually be joining Marcelo with this one for the first time because I slept through. But me and Marcelo will be taking this watch along on the Matty Hayes channel because Matty is working. So big up, everybody. Do you think Kane will leave, Marcelo?
I think if they sack Jose, he will. Because I mean, honestly, if you're bringing in a Nagelsmann type manager, that's a project manager, and Kane doesn't have 4 years. Kane does not have 4 years to be doing projects. He wants to win trophies now, and you can't discredit the guy. You know what I mean? And maybe we can use the money to rebuild. But yeah, I think if we sack Jose, he will leave.
Yeah, I think so as well. We'll just take Kev Williams. Big up Kev Williams with the super chat, by the way, and everyone else. The super chat is there. If you want to get your comments read out, guaranteed to be read out, and as well if you want to support the Irish Hotspur, going to the very, very top, baby. Hi David, this is an appreciation for your channel. It's great. Hi Marcelo, it pisses me off that Dyer keeps getting played. Kev, yeah, look, I completely understand the frustration with Dyer. I think, look, for me, I was one of Dyer's biggest backers in terms of that what can we do if we keep playing everybody? But no, look, I agree with you. Look, Dyer just doesn't he doesn't warrant starting anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like that ball that came in against West Ham, Marcelo. Like
Yeah,
a centre half has to deal with
shocking.
that. A centre half has
Shocking.
to deal with it.
Just got
That's the
spun.
basics of defending.
Yeah, play linger. But like even then, it's just like the thing is, we can look at Dyer, we can look at Sanchez, we can look at the whole defense for that goal. There was there
Yeah,
was there was like about the thing is right. That for me is so shocking. It's like yes, every goal is gonna be individual mistakes, right? But it's not with Tottenham. It's not one individual mistake. It's like one, two, three, four, all at one time. It's like watching a circus, dude. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
watching Dumb and Dumber. Like you know what I mean? The Three Stooges all
yeah,
clattering on each other, eye poking one another. It's just
yeah.
pure clownery. It's a comedy, really, if you think about it. Just seeing
It's
Davidson say,
annoying.
yeah,
You know, look,
you see,
there's only so many times you can keep going with the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Look, the thing is, it worked up until about November. And then after that, it's just been an absolute shit show. And look, it's getting on everyone's nerves at the minute. Do you know what I mean? Like even whether you're Josie in, Josie out, whether you're Enoch in, Enoch out, just what's going on the field is pissing everybody off. And it
no.
can't keep continuing. It cannot keep continuing.
And the one thing I just wonder, like, and so far I have yet to get an answer from this. I have yet to, the thing is weird, right? Because we're able to answer all the Jose outs, question. We're able to answer it, but whenever we ask them questions, it's always the same rhetoric. Oh, we need to just get him out. He's a dinosaur. You know what I mean? They don't
Mm.
offer any analysis or thought because I ask people, who are Nagelsmann in, and I'm like, okay, fine, you're Nagelsmann in. How does he fix his defense? How does he
Yeah,
fix Eric Dyer? How does he fix Sanchez? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
how does he fix Tottenham? And then they're like, oh, I don't know, but he's young. He plays attacking football. It's the Hotspur way. And I'm like, what? Like you're just spewing rhetoric. That's
yeah,
just rhetoric. That's not an analysis. It's just rhetoric. It's just your brain is just the thing is like it's almost like propaganda. And this is what the media has been doing to Jose. I feel like if you look at whenever there's bad form, you look at Klopp, right? There's bad form around Klopp. There's nothing around the rhetoric where Klopp out, you know what I mean? Oh, it's toxic and everything like that. The media doesn't do that. You know what I mean? You look at
yeah,
any other manager, The media does not do that. It's only when it's Jose. When it's Jose, it's like you see all these headlines coming in. You see all these, terrorist football. Oh, Jose out, everything like that. The media kind of
Yeah,
implements, this thought in the fan base's head, and it's just interesting. And honestly, it's unfair to any manager. You know what I mean? This
yeah,
type of rhetoric. It's really
yeah,
like if it was happening to Klopp, that would be very unfair. It was happening to anyone. I think managers deserve more time. You know what I mean? I think it's just funny how there's this whole idea where we need to baby and cradle players nowadays. We need to be father figures, teach them the birds and the bees, teach them how to do their taxes, be their daddies.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Be the father figures. It's interesting, but you know what I mean? These are grown ass millionaires. You know what I mean? Like to Deli Alley, everybody keeps acting like he's a kid. He's
yeah,
a grown ass millionaire. He's 24 years old. He's about to turn 25.
yeah,
And it's just interesting how we cradle these players like they're so sensitive, like they're babies, but yet we are so ruthless to kick a man out of his job when he hasn't even been given the fair tools. You know what I
yeah,
mean? That's the one thing that's cruel about football. It's the only job where truly we can go in there and hire someone and say you have no tools to work with, but you have to do something. And then if you
yeah.
don't do it, you're fired.
It's
It's the
asking.
only
Look, they're
job.
asking them to be Harry Potter at this stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They literally are. Like for me, it's come to a point. Look, they're asking him to get something out of players that no manager's going to be able to come in and be able to do. But for me, look, where I am at this point in this situation is, you know what I mean? The board need to sit down with Danny Levy. They need to sit down with Steve Hitchen. They need to realise first and foremost that we need a rebuild and we need
Yeah.
players in the door. But second of all, most importantly, they have to identify the manager they want to do the rebuild with and go with it 100%. No ifs and
Hmm.
buts, no pulling back. You go with it 100% and you back it. And that's where I'm at with it. I'll just take THFC Gaming's comment here.
Yeah, get the
Nice
super
one,
chats.
David. True passion, exactly what Spurs fans should be like. And not all these stupid fans who want Jose to fail. In Jose we trust. Come on, you Spurs. First of
Yep.
all, big up to the HFC Gaming with the super chat. It's really appreciated. Marcelo here got his new sign that's posted over to him. He's absolutely delighted with it. Let us know in the comment sections where you think he should put it. You think he should put it up on that wall behind him so everyone can see it. But look, one thing I will say to HFC Gaming is, look, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm not going to start where I'm going to start doing this name calling on Josie Outers. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I don't agree with them, and that's the fact of the matter. But they're entitled to their opinion as well. You know what I mean? Just like we say we're entitled to our opinion. But big yourself up, buddy.
I think they're entitled to their opinion, but it's just like for me, I just want to see a rational analysis because yet so far I have not seen a convincing argument. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not like it's always like, oh, he's a dinosaur. Oh, look at this fresh, look at Nagelsmann. He has tight jeans. He's new. You know what I mean? He's young. Oh, he looks skinny, and it's just like none of that has anything to do with football. It's just like that's all appearance, and it's just like people tell me, oh, but look at what Nagelsmann do. Like it's so they contradict themselves over and over again because I remember, me talking to Jose Outer. I won't say his name, but he was like, "Oh yeah, no, we got to get Mourinho out," and I'm like, "But would you agree that we need a rebuild and we need to sell players?" And then he's like, "Oh, yeah, absolutely. We got a bunch of deadwoods here." But I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, so you won't give him time to sell those players and get the players that he wants to win trophies?" And then he's like, "No. Jose's got to go." But it's just like I don't know. It's crazy. It's like they can contradict themselves. They know there's a problem. They know there's problems bigger than Jose. They know that there's deadwoods that need to be sold, but they just want to throw. Like for me, I am going to say it's toxic because for me, they know that there's a problem, and you know what I mean. And for those people that think that go at David, no, go at me, bro. You can go to my Twitter account. You are toxic because you have an agenda, and despite contradicting yourself, you still want a man to lose his job because of an agenda, just because of a Chelsea connection. You want him to lose a job without even giving him the end of the season. Do you know how fucked up that is? That is so fucked up. For me, that is toxic. And it just breeds nothing. Instead of just backing the guy until the end of the summer and then analyzing it afterwards, right? And being like, okay, yeah, he didn't win anything, get Nagelsmann in. Fair enough. But you're just so fixated. I hear like Hasenhudel and all these other names coming in. It's like, what? You know what I mean? Like, what would Hasenhudel do at this stage of the career? Lose us 9-0. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, uh, it's ridiculous. Give the guy till the end of the season. If he doesn't produce, then I hold my hands up. Fair play. But
Look, for me, even if they sacked Josie tomorrow and brought in Nagelsmann, I would back him. I would 100%
yeah,
back Nagelsmann or whoever comes in the door. But for me, I think it's just unfair to not give him at least until he's out of what he was supposed to
yeah,
do, like out of the Europa League. Top four is completely written off because we know if we go on a run, it is still achievable with the way the
yeah.
results are going this season. So for
Oh,
me, I think at least give the guy until he's out of everything. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But before we start putting on the pressure for him to be sacked, because for me, the last thing we want to be doing is we have a Europa League campaign, we have a League Cup final. You know what I mean? Okay, the league's not going too well, but a string of results could really
yeah.
transform that. And for me, you don't want to be in a position like where you're replacing your manager right now. And that's just my opinion on it. Like, you know what I mean? At least why we have a manager, just back him and see how it goes. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say Jaws is perfect. He's not perfect.
No, he's
He's
made
not
mistakes.
perfect, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He makes mistakes with substitutions and stuff like that. But Marcelo, we all have our flaws.
yeah.
Pochettino
So
had his flaws. Pochettino couldn't impact the game from the sideline. He didn't know how to do it
yeah,
tactically or with subs either.
yeah. Pochettino also had a big issue with subs. People forget that he used to wait until the 80th minute to or 90th minute to put Lucas Moura. Remember that? That was the big running joke. Like, oh,
Yeah,
he's gonna wait until the 90th minute to put Lucas Moura. Like he struggled. Pochettino sometimes he struggled to hold leads in the big games. Like sometimes he cracked in the big games. Sometimes he overthought things in the big games. Listen, every manager has flaws. Nagelsmann has flaws. Nagelsmann got beat fucking 5-0 by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer shit. You know what I mean? Like he got beat 5-0. So it's
that's
like,
another manager though, Marcelo, that was sacked every weekend. All of a sudden, he's turned it around and he's got them going. He's
yeah.
found the right formula.
Oh, honestly, like I envy United's board. They stuck to their guns. They said, no, this is the man. We believe he's the man, and even things not going our way, we will stick by him and we will back him. Our board doesn't do that. You know what I mean? But we're
Yeah,
cowards. It's a weak mentality. Like instead of just I don't know. Instead of just backing the guy and just giving him time, like I remember when Pochettino came in, David. I don't know if you remember it, but there was also a bunch of crowds that were Pochettino out. Especially the Redknapp fans.
being
The,
honest, when
the,
he first came in, I didn't want him because for me, look, I knew he'd done a good job at Southampton, but for me, like I've always wanted someone that I could see getting a silverware, and I've wanted that. I've been waiting for so long for it, just as many
yeah,
fans are, and we've
but
been
that
absolutely robbed of it.
yeah, but that was the big thing when Pochettino came in. It's like, oh, who's the Southampton manager? Get him out. Oh, he's not getting results. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. And that was the first year where Levy kind of stuck to his guns and said, no,
Yeah,
we're gonna give him time to get the recruitment that he needs, and look how well that played out. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
and you know what? What's funny? I bet. Listen, I'll bet you $100, and I'll even donate it to you.
Mhm.
If Nagelsmann ever does come in and he has the same bad run of form, his first bad run of form, I guarantee you, majority of these Jose outers would be saying, "No, we got to give him time. No, 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 we got to give him time. Got to give him time to do his project, rebuild, and stuff like that." You know what I mean? Like they waited
Mm.
the first moment it got bad with Jose, they just absolutely came out with their torches. So it's like almost like a mob mentality with these people, man, and they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what like that they're costing a man his reputation and a job without even thinking about it, which is absolutely wrong in my opinion.
Do you think that's why he came out swinging in the press conference today, basically saying that his training tactics are or his training and his methods and everything are next to none, next as good as anybody's, and that you know what I
I
mean.
mean,
He's
it
evolved
is.
as a manager. He's not a dinosaur and stuff like that. What do you make of that?
I think yeah, I think he's coming back and fighting. And listen, there's a lot of Einsteins out there, man, thinking that oh yeah, this guy can do a better job, Hazenudo can do a better job, just because like it's a fresh face. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah,
That's the only reason. It's a fresh face. There's hope. It's the same thing with Dele Alli. Remember when me, Josh, we had the whole Dele Alli debate, and I told Josh this, and big up Josh. I love the guy. He's a great guy. You know what I mean? Don't give him any stick, but he was a big Dele Alli, and I said, listen, the only reason people are Dele Alli and it's because Dele Alli hasn't played in years, and the time you're most famous is when you haven't played in years because people forget
yeah,
how bad you were. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like people people are telling me that Pochettino will get the squad to top four. For fuck's sakes, Pochettino is struggling to get Champions League football with PSG. This squad got him sacked. It's just like the narratives just don't make any sense. There's no sense to it at all.
yeah. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. But here we'll take Kev Williams' comment. Big up, Kev, again with another super chat. Major favouritism towards Liverpool in the press. Look, the old traditional top four. There's always favouritism towards them, and the reason why they do it is because it's what makes the money at the end of the day, and that's why it's done.
Yeah.
Whatever makes money is what happens. But Marcelo, I've seen a comment here that'll please you. It basically said, I don't want Spurs to have an annual 9-0 defeat with the whole Nagelsmann comment. But
Man,
Marcelo, honestly,
I don't know what that comment was about. The guy said Hasenhüttl squeezes every player out of that club, and he's transformed Southampton. How has Hasenhüttl transformed Southampton? They're 8 points. They're 8 points off the relegation zone and just had one of their worst defeat back-to-back seasons. That if Hasenhüttl was okay, getting like 10th, you know what I mean? Looking really good and playing I swear to God, these people that say this stuff, they probably just saw the Liverpool game. They probably don't even watch all the games that Hasenhüttl played. There's been some games where Hasenhüttl has been shocking tactically, been absolutely outclassed. Jose absolutely tore Hasenhüttl apart in the second half. You know what I mean? Beat him 5-1. I've seen Hasenhüttl get ripped apart by teams. So for me, it's just this whole narrative. It keeps making less and less sense. It's less and less sense.
Just to answer Mr. Edwardson's comment there, the Irish Hotspur is this live. Graham says not. Yeah, 100% it's live, man. It's 1 a.m. over here. It's actually 1:30 a.m. over here now. But look, you know what I mean? Like I said at the start of the stream, I can't do one tomorrow before the game, so I'm getting it overdone with now for all the Harris Army out there. You know yourself, the dedication to the grind. Look, Marcelo, my next question to you is, if Josie does end up getting the sack, what manager would you like to come in? And everyone else in the comments let us know.
I don't even like saying, honestly, I don't even like saying that because it's just I don't want him to get sacked. I want to give Jose time and give him a fair job.
So right.
I do realize this is a man's job and reputation on the line, and I want to give him as many avenues and chances as possible before I decide I want to take that from him. You know what I mean? People don't realize how serious this really is. It's really this guy's livelihood that we're trying to take away. It's ridiculous. But listen, if you're twisting my arm, I've always said it. You know what I mean? I didn't want. People think I wanted Jose. I didn't want Jose. I wanted Ten Hag. I think Ten Hag is big up Will Stewart, by the way. Big up Will Stewart. He's a great guy. Yeah.
Do you speak to him on Twitter?
Have I spoke to him on Twitter? I don't think I have his Twitter, actually. Will Stewart, hit me up on Twitter. It's
hit Marcelo up on Twitter, and if you want to come on, Marcelo will forward you on the link.
Yeah. It's at Gangsta 25, I think. Yeah, at Gangsta.
Yeah, 25. It is at Gangsta 25 is Marcelo's Twitter handle. I see it everywhere, all over my newsfeed.
Yeah,
your dedication to Tottenham is unbelievable, lad. I have to give you that,
bro. I have to get in the argument, but yeah. What's up? What were you gonna ask me?
What do you make of the players basically coming out crying that they've been given days off? But then some of the same players, not all of them, because there are a few new ones, but some of the same players were also crying about Pochettino's training method, where he was making them do double sessions and basically they didn't really have any time off. But one thing I'll say is they were fittest they were ever been, and yourself, Marcelo, when you're super fit, you can do things you'd never normally do. But and now they're crying because Mourinho awards them a day off after they win. Maybe that's why they're not winning, because they don't want days off. I don't know, Marcelo. What do you think?
You know, next day will be the weather. Next day will be their girlfriends. Next day will be their showers were too cold. You know what I mean? Their cleats were too tight. I don't know, man. It's a load of horseshit, if you ask me. It's Allegri would be, but you see, I don't like talking about managers coming and going like it's nothing. I think people
Yeah,
take that stuff way too lightly. I take sacking a manager very seriously personally, but look, it's the same players. It's the same players. It's not a coincidence that it's always the deadwoods that come out.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Pochettino said we need a rebuild, and he said the name, and the exact same players he wanted out threw him under the bus. These players are smart, David. They will do anything, and I mean anything to keep their jobs. They know this is their last hurrah. This last hurrah for them is Tottenham Hotspurs because Sissoko, like I said, is not getting into a top club. Lamela is gonna go probably to Chinese league. Sanchez is probably gonna go to the circuit relay. Dyer if Dyer's probably gonna go there with them. Um, Doherty and Davies are probably gonna get their new sitcom, Dumb and Dumber. Like, you know what I mean? Like these guys aren't going any like after Tottenham Hotspurs, these guys are going nowhere. These guys are
yeah,
going nowhere. They're going to, mid-table or championship or, some club we never heard of. So they know this is their last hurrah. And sacking Jose keeps them a little bit longer. A little bit longer. It's not until our fan base wakes up and realize. And I think honestly, I think they already realize it, David. But the hate for Jose, well, it's not that I think I know they realize it. I've seen them admit it, but it's just that they just
yeah.
want Jose out. You know what I mean? They just want Jose out that badly, which is for me, it's just such
It's
a
criminal.
it's a vile thing to do. Really, it's a vile thing to do because if you think about it, David, it's like if you know someone is not at fault, at a job, but you want them fired anyway, so you get them fired. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If I ever did that to someone, I don't know if I could live with myself, really, man. You know what I mean? I think I
yeah,
think I think that's terrible to do personally. I think if you know the bigger issues and you can see the bigger picture and you know what I mean, you know that even if you get Nagelsmann in, you're gonna need a rebuild, you're gonna need new players, but and you know all of that, and you still want the man sacked just because you didn't like him because of a Chelsea connection. It's just vile, man. To me, that's just you're cold-hearted, pretty much, if you do
yeah.
that, man. Like you're cold-hearted. I'm not that cold-hearted.
Marcelo, and we have a comment here from That Your Fan Man. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because he's a manager you actually mentioned earlier on that you wanted in at the time when Poch got the sack
Ten Hag,
is your
yeah.
man off Ajax, the manager of Ajax.
The reason why I want Ten Hag is because I obviously me and you we both follow our under 23s on under 18, see how they're doing, see how the
Yeah,
and we're a club that doesn't spend a lot of money, so the fact that Ten Hag got basically to a Champions League semifinal with just an academy really and a bunch of young
yeah,
really shows what he can do. And if he got some senior players, some world class players, he can do even more with that. And his
mm,
development of youth is for me second to none, second to none
yeah,
than any other manager in the world. And I think the stuff that he could do to Skip, the stuff that he can do to, what I mean, Harvey White, Sirkin,
yeah.
Sessegnon,
Divine,
yeah, Divine,
Starkin.
Scarlet, even Parrot.
Yeah,
I mean, I know some people, I kind of have my doubts on him, but even Parrot, like, I think he can definitely get, some of these youngsters into the first team. And um, also, I do enjoy the way, he plays football. I thought it was, at that time, the thing is, when Jose came in, I did say it's almost like he's coming into a wrong squad because this is an
yeah,
attack minded squad. This is not a defensive minded squad. So I thought during the summer we would get new center backs, new, right backs, but we never did that, which was always my puzzlement. I was always, asking for Emerson, always asking for Milinkovic. You know what I mean? I was always
yeah,
asking for center back the whole entire summer, but we always kept getting wingers and midfielders. And I'm like, what's going on? We need, what I mean? This is a defensive manager. We need to,
yeah,
steady the defense. And it's almost like they just didn't want to do that. And Jose was asking for it, but they just didn't want to follow his philosophy. And it's
Yeah,
just
look, this is why I say it's a crime. You don't bring in a manager that can win you things with backing and then not
yeah,
back him. It's a crime, in my opinion. But look, I have a few super chats I just
yeah,
want to
yeah,
run through
yeah.
here
Read up,
quickly.
read up.
Kev Williams with the super chat, big yourself up, man. You're a true Harris Army veteran. You are at this stage. David, will you be doing a live watch along? Look, I've basically me, Marcelo, and Matty have all made an agreement that we're going to keep them going on Matty's channel. And, the reason why is because that's where we started it. It's growing every week. We're doing more and more numbers. And look, the fact that, it can't be done without Matty hosting. Honestly, with me hosting, it's never going to be the same. Marcelo, a great host, but Matty is the real deal. So, and we're going to keep doing it on Matty's channel. So honestly, if you want to see me, Marcelo, and Matty together, make sure you're tuning to Matty Hayes watch-alongs. That's where all the watch-alongs will be. And before people think that maybe I should do them on my own channel, look, I love doing them on Matt's channel first and foremost. It's fun for me. It's a bit of crack. You know what I mean? We can all sit there and enjoy the game together. So from now on, they will be on Matty Hayes' channel, and we'll be doing every game between the three of us. Don't worry, there'll always be one of us there. We also have the BG. Can we hear Marcelo scream, David? I'm telling you, bro. Yeah, this guy, he loves it on the watch-alongs. He loves it, lad. Give him one there.
I can't scream it because my parents are sleeping. But David, I'm telling you, bro.
You've made his day, lad. You've absolutely made his evening. But BG, if you want more of that, tune into the watch along tomorrow. The Irish Hotspur, which is not me, by the way. I'm just going to tell everyone that now. So I do know who it is, but it's not me anyway. And then we have a couple more here. Where are they after going? Where are they after going? There's so many comments. It's mad. Yeah, Bobby B. And thanks, guys, for keeping me sane while this club drives me up the wall. Appreciate it, chaps. Bobby B, look, I think no problem at all. But we're all being driven sane with what's going on at the minute. You know what I mean? Especially with the lockdowns and the poor results and everything. We're all being driven sane. Yeah. But big yourself up. Thanks very much for the super chat.
I can understand. Listen, I can understand why fans are upset, and I can understand maybe why people are already questioning Jose. But if you're gonna give Jose out, and I saw a comment here, I think it was from I don't know, it was Bobby Singh or something like that. I seen him in your stream a couple times, and he made a great comment. Yeah. If you're a Jose out, if you're a Jose outer, that's fine, but at least have a reason and have an analytical reason, and and actually back it and actually prove that bringing in Nagelsmann would improve the club. If you can convince me bringing in Nagelsmann would improve the club right now and get us trophies and get us where we want to be, I'm down for it. But if you're just shouting Jose out, and then you're twisting narratives just to fit your agenda. Like, for example, remember that stupid tweet where the guy said, "Oh, Pochettino got more points than Jose with this squad," but actually he just showed like a League Cup game where there was a bunch of youngsters. You know what I mean? When you start twisting the narrative and you start twisting other things just to fit your agenda, and you know what I mean? For example, when they always bring up Nagelsmann's CV, but then it's funny when you bring up Jose's CV, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter when you bring up Jose's
first
CV.
Of all, what I will say is, every manager's employed on his CV and what he's done in the past. So that for me is a non-runner. That for me is a non-runner, because even when you go for a job in real life, you're employed on your CV. It's that simple.
I went. Hey, you know me. I already said it. I'm applying to a hospital. I had to present my resume. That's just for everyone. But it's just funny how for them, his CV don't matter. His CV don't matter. But with Nagelsmann, it's like, oh no, look what he did at Hoffenheim. A couple of years ago. Look what he did at Hoffenheim. And they're like, but hold on a second. A couple of years ago, Jose also won trophies with the United and got them second. You know what I mean? But it's like, no, that doesn't matter. Hoffenheim, Leipzig.
Look, I think people jump on this Nagelsmann. I think people jump on this Nagelsmann because he's new, he's fresh, he's the up and coming. Do you know what I mean? But look, for me, I honestly, if the greatest defensive manager in the world can't get a song out of these players defensively, who can? That's my question.
And the thing is,
and Bobby B with another super chat here as well. Same old rinse and repeat from Levy and Enoch, trying to turn water into wine with this squad. I only trust Jose to pull a miracle. Look, Bobby, I'm of the same opinion. Like, people are expecting Mourinho to come in and work with what he had, but when Poch was there and Poch got sacked, it was, oh, well, we need to buy players, we need a rebuild. But then all of a sudden, people are expecting Jose to wave his magic wand and turn Sanchez into prime Cannavaro, Dyer into prime Nesta. It's just never going to happen.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. But Marcelo, there's Bobby Sing's comment, the one you were talking about. So, if you want to keep going with what you were saying.
No, yeah, and I agree with them. Look, if you're Jose out and you can produce a fair argument where you're not twisting narratives, where you're not just saying things just to fill your agenda, like, what I mean, you're gonna say, if you're gonna say Nagelsmann CV, then you also obviously have to bring up Jose CV because you're comparing the two. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. But they just do things just to fit their argument, and for me, that is vile. If you're twisting the narrative and you're twisting, things just to fit your argument and fit your agenda, and saying, "Oh yeah, but look what Hasenhüttl is doing. He's been doing great. He's been transforming Southampton," which is not true. Southampton, you know what I mean? They're 8 points off relegation. They're actually doing pretty terrible. One of their worst, Premier League runs in a little bit since they were close to relegation, along with Hasenhüttl. I mean, like, you know what I mean? This is their worst run of form since they were in a relegation battle a couple of seasons ago. Like, it's just not true. Some of these things that they're saying, it's just not true. And look, Bobby's saying, if you're Jose, I would love to hear your argument. I would love to hear your argument. But if you just,
I think from what I've heard of Bobby, I think he's on the fence. He's not 100% sure where he wants to go. Now, Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just from what I hear. Like, I think you can see points from the Josie out, but also see points from the Josie in. But honestly, Bobby, you are a person that I will be bringing on someday to have your opinion. You have asked me, and I haven't forgot. James Watson here. Love the content, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, James. Thanks very much, man. I really do appreciate it. And to everyone else, honestly, I'm trying my best to get through the comments, but Marcelo just has such great points. It's hard to get through them all.
Yeah, I'll let you get into the comments.
No, honestly, don't, Marcelo. You make the stream so much easier.
Yeah.
But if you do want your comment guaranteed to be read out, make sure you get your super chat in.
But don't get me wrong. Even though I wanted a Nagelsmann, and I want, you know what I mean, he was my first choice. And even if Jose gets sacked and Nagelsmann comes in, we still need to do a lot of work within the club. You know what I mean? Nagelsmann, Ten Hag is a guy that, he works very well with youth, but you still need to give him prospects for him to succeed. And Steve Hitchen just hasn't been the guy. So if you bring in, even if something does happen, horrible happen with Jose, and he's not something I want, but even if it does happen and Ten Hag does come in, you would need a guy that can scout youth for Ten Hag to be effective. See, the thing is, people like to look at everything in a very easy way. You know what I mean? They just like to look at it. How do you say it? I don't know. Like, they just like to see the one picture. You know what I mean? But a club, to be successful, needs many building blocks. Like, they just look at, look what Rodgers is doing at Leicester. You know what I mean? He's getting so many talent, but they don't realize that Leicester is one of the best scouts. They have a great club board that are, able to buy and sell players for triple the profits. They're very well organized. We're not that right now. We're not organized. We can't sell players. We can't get proper players. We got Justin Fernandez, for fuck's sakes. You know what I mean? The scouting has not been good enough. So you can bring in Nagelsmann. You can bring in Ten Hag. All these guys are good at finding youth and, developing players. But if you don't give them, like a Paul Mitchell or Campos or any of those guys, they're not going to succeed, bro. Because Steve Hitchen just isn't the right man for the job. He just isn't. It's like giving, it's like giving your kitchen knife and telling them to cut a tree down with it. It's just like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You need to give them a chainsaw. You need to give them some oil. You need to help the manager out. There's building blocks to make a club successful. It's not just one block. It's not just the manager. It's not just the players. It's not just the scouts. It's the whole collective thing. And right now at Tottenham Hotspurs, that is not it. That's not happening. There's no communication. There's no one vision. Jose wants a center back. Steve Hitchen goes out there and gives him Jason Fernandez. I mean, Jose wants Max Aarons, and they give him, Doherty. It's just, there's no communication with this board. It's just we just cut so many corners.
Yeah, 100%. But like as well, like with these other names that have been banded around, like Rodgers and Nagelsmann, Nagelsmann has one of the best scouting departments behind him
Yeah,
in the world. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Leicester are a club that have always had a good scouting network, but they bought Vardy and Mahrez for less than $1 million each, and they went on and won a league. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You're also talking about Kante that they picked up
yeah,
from France for fuck all. There's a
yeah.
load of players there, so these guys actually have some of the best scouting
So
networks behind them in the world.
so Maguire for 80 million, and then got guys like Pereira, Castagne, Albrighton, I think is his name, right? Like for
Yeah,
cheap, man. You know what I mean? He, yeah, they got a lot of players there for cheap, and the way they run business and the way they follow their motto is very effective. Like the buy and sell motto is effective, but you can't cut corners. You can't
yeah,
cut corners. You can't get the likes of Steve Hitchen, who just because they're cheap. You need to get the Campos. You need to get the real deal if you want to be a club that's self-sustainable and do a buy-sell business. Because if you get a guy that doesn't know how to recruit and hates doing his job, we're not gonna go anywhere.
yeah.
We're gonna end up losing money at the end of the day.
Yeah, and we had a comment from Tom McKeever there. It says, it basically said we're becoming like Arsenal. We're celebrating top four like it's a trophy.
Yeah. No, yeah. Listen, it's I don't know where the can we just talk about the fan base of this club? Is like you brought up a great point. Tottenham apparently to this fan base is just too good to defend. You know what I mean? It's just too good to play 10 men behind
I
the
lost it
ball
that day.
and win the games. You know what I mean? Like, where do we have this mentality where Jose's tactics is good enough for the likes of Real, good enough for the likes of Chelsea, good enough for the likes of Enter, but it's not good enough for Tottenham Hotspurs. We need to play the Hotspur way.
But
Like,
we're an anomaly, lad. We're special. Like when you come to manage Tottenham, it's completely different to every other club in the world. Like, you know what I mean? You have to do the Tottenham way. You know what I
ridiculous.
mean? The
But
Tottenham
like,
way
why?
that has won us one League Cup
No, no, no,
in
no, no,
20 years. You know what I mean?
no, no.
We don't defend. We're Tottenham.
No,
We do not defend. There's no point in
no,
defending
no.
because we're Tottenham Hotspur.
No, no, honestly, no, no, no. It has one of those things. Remember, these people consider top four trophy.
Oh yeah,
Remember
yeah.
the second time when we put pressure on Chelsea and we went around London, celebrating that trophy. Remember that time when we beat Real Madrid 3-1 and we went, did the London tour, with the little medal where we beat, Real,
Yeah,
played the Hotspur way. It's just, it's just I don't know where these like it's such a tin pot. In my opinion, it's a tin pot mentality. You know what I mean? Just thinking, top four is a trophy. Oh, winning in the Hotspur way is an achievement. There is no achievement winning the Hotspur way. It's not an achievement. It's just there's winning trophies and then there's not. That's simple as that's the rule of
yeah.
football.
We have a comment here from Paul Anderson. He says you can have the best scouts if the manager doesn't improve the players or even playing the players. That's the point of what's the point of playing youth? Jose was good 10 years ago. You can lose the manager. Look, Paul, what I'd say to you really is look, like the club, the type of club we are and where we want to go, we should be bringing in players that are already, they're already coached. It's the talent. Basically, what you do is you nurture the talent to get the best out of it. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, like this whole thing about Jose playing youth, he has played youth as well. Dane Scarlett, Alfie Whiteman, Dennis Sirkin, Harvey White, Alfie Devine. Do you know what I mean? So he has given you a chance as well.
But
Look,
even then,
well,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but even then, if you look at Leicester, Pereira isn't a youth player. You know what I mean? And Didi isn't a youth player. You know what I mean? O'Brien isn't a youth player. Castane isn't a youth player. You know what I mean? Brendan Rodgers didn't have to get them from an academy or some fuck nowhere. Those guys are all proven players. They all came in and they're already men. Like I don't know, man. It's just any narrative, I guess.
Look, for me, I definitely don't think Joe is finished, to be honest with you. I really don't. Like, what I'd say to you, Paul, is do you think it's fair that they bring in a manager, who's proven if you back him, he gets you the best trophies, and then not back him properly? Like, look, we have to be honest, he did get a small bit of backing, but you question how many of them were his signings. Like, Vinicius was a stopgap. Everyone knows that. You know what I mean? Doherty, we've got Doherty in because he was cheap, even though he wasn't Jose's first choice. Like, it's things like that, like, you know, that really gets me. And the fact is, as well, the problems were here under Poch. The problems were here before Jose even got to this club. Like, the thing is, under Pochettino, right, our defence was letting us down a lot. So and like, you know, him and Levy, like, not that they fell out, but it was coming to an end. But then, so what the board done is said, right, rather than having to spend actually, like, you know, over 100 million on defenders because the defence is shit, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in Jose Mourinho, the best defensive coach in the world, and see what he can do with them. And now that Jose's come in and can't get any better out of them, but then, you know, it stinks of needing investment to me, and that's just the way it is. It's just the way it is, and that's only my opinion. You know what I mean, Paul? You're entitled to your opinion. Big yourself up as well, man. But Marcelo, we'll get into tomorrow's game, so we will. Look, for me, it's already job done. We're already in the last 16. You know what I mean? They may as well put us on the door of who's allowed into the last 16, because we got the job done in the first leg along with United. Look, Jose has already hinted into his press conference as well that, you know, it's going to be more or less the same squad that played last week against them. So I'd be fully expecting to see, you know, Matt Doherty a right back, hopefully playing with no boots, because I'm taking them off him. I'm sick of him. He doesn't deserve a pair of boots. You know what I mean? Make him go out there in his socks. Honestly, I would, because he's really winding me up. Davison Sanchez, I've already sent him on holiday to Colombia. If he plays, I go nuts.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Honestly, a defender that doesn't know where the ball is when it's in the air. Honestly, this guy, what do people want Mourinho to do? Give him a GPS system, a tracker system. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, the guy is useless. Then you have Moon Boots Dyer, who cannot pass a ball. Honestly, you may as well send him out with fucking clown shoes. You know, honestly, because he cannot kick a ball straight. Then you have Ben Davies, who can't run. He genuinely cannot run. He turns like a roundabout. You know what I mean? He gets skinned He got skinned by a player that looked like Gareth Bale wannabe. Their player looked like Gareth Bale wannabe, had the hair, the ponytail, and everything, and he got skinned by him. Our defence is embarrassing. But you know what? Going from midfield forward, it's all rosy. It's all good. You know what I mean? For me, I personally, I'd actually start Kane, to be honest with you. Do you know, I would give him a goal or two, let him get a nice goal or two in the first half, you know, get his confidence up for the weekend. But Marcelo, what are you thinking about tomorrow's night's game? Would you go with a strong team? Like, for me, I would go with a strong team for the first half, get it wrapped up, come out 2-3-0, and then, you know, basically, look, bring on the likes of youngsters, because he did say he will be bringing youngsters on the bench with him, along with a bench that, if needed, can turn the tie around, but that should not be needed. Honestly, if that's needed, I'm going over there and I will go nuts. I will go nuts if that's needed to bring on some of the big heavy hitters. Honestly, it's a joke. But what do you think, Marcelo?
Yeah, I think Son needs a rest. I think if there's any player that needs a rest this game, it's Son and Højbjerg. But other than that, I think, you know, game time for Reguilon would be good. You know, he's coming back from fitness, so game time for him would be good. A little bit of game time for Kane would be good. He does seem a little bit, ever since he came back from injury, he does seem a little bit rusty. His shooting doesn't seem to be a little as good. He's been missing some sitters, man. I mean, for him, yeah. I mean, not sitters, but like for him, they are sitters. They're goals that he usually scores. So, it'd be nice to see him play, get some goals in the first half, and, you know, take him out in the second. I would play Doherty, and I'll play Tanganga at center back. I would.
Yeah. I'd actually play Tanganga beside Toby and see what it looks like. Say.
Yeah, play him, Tanganga, and Toby. Just get Tanganga some game time, because he hasn't gotten many this season. And then in the midfield, fuck it. I guess we're gonna have to play Winks. You know what I mean?
No. We can't go down there. We can't. Honestly, we can't. Honestly, I'll end up in cardiac arrest tomorrow night if that guy plays, and no one wants to see that. Honestly, this guy is one of the worst footballers I've ever seen. We cannot go down that road playing him. For me, you know what I mean, put him on a Tottenham ban till the end of the season and then sell him.
I kind of not gonna lie, I just said that just to see what your reaction was.
No, we can't. We can't. Honestly, the guy's one of the worst footballers I've ever seen. A centre midfielder who was afraid to tackle. Honestly, you know what I mean? A centre midfielder who was afraid to tackle. That's like employing a chef who's afraid of heat. You just don't do it. You know what I mean? It's madness. But look, we'll take Bobby B's comment here quickly. Unless we buy 2 centre backs and a right back, which won't happen, we don't have the defence to cope with Nagelsmann all out attacking style. And I fully agree with you. Me and Marcelo both said this. You know what I mean? Nagelsmann is not going to have the defence to be able to play the way he wants.
Big losses
his system is defined. His system is designed from playing out the back. You know, smooth transitions, nice passes. But when you see the likes of Doherty, Sanchez, Dyer, Davies, you know what I mean? When they're standing there, they're on the ball. They have 2 players either side with an opposition player standing in front of them. And they're colourblind and they pass it to the player straight in front of them. The complete opposite colour on the jersey. You know, there's no way Nagelsmann is playing his football. This defence would turn Nagelsmann into a young Sam Allardyce. That's what this defence would do. Honestly. And then we have Mansa here.
Bro, Nagelsmann has suffered some big losses in the Bundesliga. He conceded 3 goals to Mainz, bro. And I think Mainz are a relegation side. He conceded 3 goals to Dortmund, who hasn't exactly been amazing. 5 goals against, United. Holy goodness, so shit. You know what I mean? He's had some pretty heavy losses in his career. You can see, 3 goals against Bayern is, it is what it is. It's Bayern Munich.
Yeah, Bayern in class.
Yeah, but Bayern can do that to anybody. But you know what I mean? Like he has a way better defense. He has Upamecano and Konate, or how you say his name. Those guys are
Konate. I'd say it, but it's whatever your preference is, lad.
Now, those 2 guys, you know what? If they ever came to Tottenham, they easily walk into our team. They don't even need to train. They'll just be like, "Hello, Dyer. Hello, Sanchez. Goodbye," and just walk in. You know what I mean? They walk into our back line. And he's had some big losses. Oh my God! Imagine if he played with Dyer, Sanchez. You know what I mean? Toby playing expensive football where we're all stretched open. If Ole can get him, can beat him 5-0, imagine what a Pep Guardiola can do, man. You know what I mean?
100%. I fully agree with you. We have Kev Williams here. David, do you think there is behind-the-scenes secret meetings with a replacement for Jose? Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. It's the only good thing. The thing the board are good at is, doing secret meetings and getting a replacement in. And honestly, if they were doing their job as well, I'd have to say, there should be. There should be. We also have Mansa here. Jose wasn't back defensively. They are second choice for a manager who's defensive first. It's criminal to have these error-prone defenders. Yeah, 100%.
Dumb and Dumber, bro.
Mansa with another great comment. Jose wanted Rudiger, Skriniar. They got him Roden from the Championship and still wanted to haggle the price. It sums it up. And we were in for Rudiger. Rudiger was a player I would have took personally. But look, again, back to tomorrow's game.
We're too good for him. We're too good for him. You know what I mean? I said let's get Thiago Silva on a free. And people said Eric Dyer was too good. And I was like, you know what I mean? They said, oh, Eric Silva's 35 years old. Eric Dyer is way better than them. He's 24. I'm like, just thinking, like, this is a Brazilian international who has captained PSG, just got to a Champions League final, looked phenomenal. Yeah. You know what I mean? The guy is a leader, born leader. It has one of the, I followed Thiago Silva's whole career. He's as disciplined as you can get as a player. You know what I mean? His diet, everything. He's a guy that will fight for the badge. And, people told me Eric Dyer. Remember Eric Van Dyer? Remember that? Eric Van Dyer.
You know what? I have to hold my hands up. I backed Dyer for a while. I did, because honestly, the reason why I backed Dyer is because I knew Sanchez wasn't going to come in and do anything. Like, the guy's a clown. Yeah. But,
hey, if he can
all Dyer has done is shit all over my support. It's all he's done is took a big dump on my chest and said, Dave, thanks for your support, but I no longer want it. Honestly, that's what he's done.
And look, you forgive me for Wink, so I forgive you for Dyer. We all get it wrong sometimes, but it's just like, this whole fan base. No, 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 no. Let's not get Thiago Silva. No, no, no. We're too good. It's like this mentality. We're too good, too good. Let's play the Hotspur way. We're just too good. We're prime
Yeah,
Barcelona. We've won 10 billion trebles. We have trophies. You know what I mean? The time where we reached second place in the Champions League final. You know what I mean? Massive trophies, massive accomplishments, playing the Hotspur way. We got to keep that. Jose's got to be a father figure. Just cuddle. Deli Alley like is a baby. We got to do all that. Be a friendly place.
yeah, kicking his
Just
ball,
chill.
smack his
Yeah,
ass. Good job,
chill.
Delhi.
Yeah, Netflix and chill, and just
Like this
just.
whole crap of people expecting Jose to be a father. He's employed as a manager. Why do you need to be a father figure to a full blown adult who, may I add, also looks like Borat? He looks like Borat. You know what I mean? Honestly, the guy needs to take his head out his ass. Like he done well. He comes on against West Ham. He knows him. To get into Jose's system, all I have to do is a simple control the ball and pass the ball. You're trying to chase the game. What does he do? I'm Deli Ali. I'm back. I'm going to start flicking it around. Call me Mr. Flicks. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, it's like he's wearing them shoes that come in, the pointy shoes that come in at the top when he flicks a ball. It drives me insane. It drives me insane. Sorry, Hafak. I hope I got that pronunciation right because I hate getting the names wrong. But if I didn't, let me know. You know what, guys? Jose is going to shush again. This time it won't be for English fans, but for Jose out people. And I'm with you. I'm with you. Look, for me, I actually do think when you hear his press conference today, he's back against the wall. I do think he's going to come out all guns blazing, all guns firing. And I do think he might take us on a run. But at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if he got, 10 of the players on the pitch, to play the Jose way and get the job done. But then you have a little girl like Doherty or Dyer or someone like that who's like, oh no, I'm sick of having a day off. Do you know what I mean? Oh, like you have Dyer there complaining under Pochettino. He trains me too hard. I'm always injured. And now he gets a day off. He can't even kick a ball. What do these players want? And as well, Marcelo, actually, another thing. What do you make of the players, basically? First of all, big up Saurav as well. Saurav. Big yourself up for the super chat, by the way, man. And like I said, anyone else that wants their comments guaranteed to be read out because the chat is flying. Make sure you get in the super chats, and I guarantee I will get to it. But Marcelo, what do you think of the thing that came out, the news that came out, basically, that the attacking players are upset because Jose is spending all the time teaching the defenders? But in all honesty, like, what's he supposed to do? If he doesn't train them, people say, oh, but what's he doing on the training pitch? He doesn't train players. And honestly, I'd say it killed some of them Jose out people today. I'd say that coming out killed them because the whole narrative is that he doesn't train players.
Yeah,
what do you make of it?
He should be coaching them, yeah. I mean, it just goes to show that what we've been saying was right all along, that he's been trying to coach these guys, but they're just uncoachable. They were uncoachable, in Poch. They're uncoachable around Jose. And I bet if you ask these Poch people out, if you ask them if Nagelsmann can coach it, I bet they'll say no. I bet they'll, pretty soon they'll see that, they're uncoachable. If Nagelsmann can't, sometimes coach up in Meccano and Konate sometimes in games, imagine Eric. Like, the thing is, right? It's almost
imagine these Jose out people not bringing up the mistakes that the defensive errors that actually the players made against Liverpool.
Yeah.
The Leipzig players, Julius Nagelman, the manager. This is a guy they want to come in and try and teach Dyer and Sanchez.
Yeah, no, but the thing is like I was about to say, is like it's almost like they don't even watch our games. It's like, do you watch these mistakes? Do you really watch these mistakes?
Yeah.
Like, these mistakes are like mistakes that I don't even do when I'm playing with, like, I've played piss drunk and a rainy night in Brazil, and I didn't even make some of these mistakes. It's just like, you can see the ball bounce. I remember we were big up Will.
Going on.
Actually, I'll let Will talk. I've been talking this whole entire time. Will, what do you think about this whole thing with the defenders? Jose spending time with the defenders and that they don't like it. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think if they don't want to spend time with Jose, they need to do their jobs, right? I mean, if they don't want to spend the time, if they don't want to stay after school, they need to do their homework, right? I mean, that's.
Yeah, I mean, you would think like, if you're struggling in math, what do? You practice. You practice math. You keep going back at it. Like the defense is the issue. The attack, we're creating chances. I think we had what, 7 shots on target, like 20 shots on goal. We hit the bar like 2 or 3 times against West Ham. So we're creating chances, but it was just the 2 individual errors that's costing us games. Like
Yeah.
It's all been errors. I mean, it's all been individual errors, and that's okay. Backstory. I was a huge Pochettino fan. I went as Pochettino for Halloween the year before he got sacked. I'll tweet out that picture. It's pretty hilarious. But I wasn't happy that Mourinho came in. But now we would have to be stupid to sack Mourinho right now.
Yeah.
Because there's absolutely no way that any other manager, you might come in and get a 9-point bump or something like that.
Yeah,
but
little manager's bounce.
There's no way he's going to get us to top 4. There's no way that he's going to get us to the final in the Europa League. There's no way that any of that stuff's going to happen with the team that we have now. And I don't know if I'm necessarily in the boat of we need 2 center backs. I think we need 1 really good center back. I'm talking 60, 70 million pounds, right? Like that's
like a Van Dijk.
Yeah, I mean,
we need a Van Dijk figure.
And I don't understand why people are slagging off Josie so bad about the players not performing. The players that aren't performing are the same players that weren't performing under Pochettino. I mean, if people don't remember, Son wasn't even a week in and week out starter for Poch up until the very last season before he left. So if you can't say that Jose hasn't improved players, Kane's had the best season of his career. Son's had the best season of his career. The players who are actual quality have all improved. The players who were crap before are still crap. And it's those crap players that are complaining about the system, about the way things are being done. And I just don't get it. Why? It's
selective memory.
Yeah.
They only want to remember.
I don't want to lose 4-5 to Everton and have 9 goals and play attacking football. I would rather win 1-0 than lose 5-4. It's almost like, with your girlfriend, when you get right to the point, she's like, stop, right? It's like, what? That's what that kind of win is, that 5-4. It's like
we celebrate
all the
blue
goodies
balls
without the basket. You know what I mean? It's
Tottenham Hotspur fans, that want the Hotspur ways are the only people to celebrate blue balls. They honestly are, you know what I mean? Like they enjoy just you know what I mean, like getting that close and yet so far and just be like, well, we did it the Hotspur way, you know what I mean? Like it's just I don't get it. I don't get the enjoyment of that. I want to see us win trophies. I mean, obviously it's nice to see us playing attacking football, but I'm getting to a point where I just want to see results. I want to see us win. I want us to be a team. I'm sick of it.
But as you guys know, I watch a lot of the different channels. I probably spend about 7 or 8 hours a day on YouTube watching different Spurs channels, not only in English, but I also watch about 5 or 6 channels in Korean too.
Yeah, you can speak Korean. I remember that.
Speak fluent Korean. And so everyone in Korea right now is basically they're taking bets. They're doing all the videos that are going on in Korea right now are all about what's the percentage of Son going to this club or that club. So if people think that Sonny's happy at Spurs, he's not going to go anywhere, they don't understand the cultural weight that is sitting on his shoulders, right? He's not just one player amongst a sea of players playing for a club in England. He's the only player playing at a major club in Europe, period, right?
Yeah, he needs success.
Park Ji-sung, when he played for Manchester United, he won 19 trophies. 19 trophies with Manchester United. Son is by far way better than Park Ji-sung ever was, but he doesn't have any trophies, right? So you have a whole country that's doing that whole, Messi, Ronaldo, Kane, Lewandowski comparison type thing with him and Park Ji-sung, and you can't tell me that if your son, right, and you're sitting there and you speak Korean fluently, right? He's not in the English press. He's not looking at English Twitter. He's looking at the Korean side of things, right? That's his home country. That's the language that he speaks fluently. Yeah. And if he's not seeing all of that pressure, if you don't think that he's at a risk, I watched his press conference that he did last week before the last Europa game? Did he look like a person who was 100% Tottenham, or was it kind of like, I'm not going to talk about my contract because I don't know if I'm going to sign it, right? That's the.
Do you think he's looking for a way out, Will?
I don't think he necessarily is looking for a way out, but I think that, especially with this current form that we're on, I think that he's thinking about it. Whereas before, I don't think he would have thought about it, right? I don't think he has thought about it before. But this year, with the amount of goals that he scored and the improvement that he's had, he wants to stay with Kane and that partnership. I guarantee you, if Kane goes, if Kane goes this summer and Sonny doesn't, he's going the next summer. Guarantee it. If Kane goes this summer, Sonny won't sign his contract. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
That'll probably be the day you'll see me cry.
It's a sad state of affairs. Yeah. Sad state of affairs. But look, we'll just take with a couple of super chats in, so we'll take them and then get back to business. Kev Williams with the super chat. Big yourself up, brother. Sell Dyer and Sanchez and use the money towards a top centre back. Yeah, look, I fully agree. To be honest with you, I think we'll be in a position where we can only sell one. I think selling two, even though two should be gone, it's a bit much. It will leave us, with no cover going into the following season. But me personally, I would probably sell Sanchez because honestly, a defender that doesn't know where the ball is and needs a GPS tracker, it's not good enough. So for me, I'd sell him. But we'll start with you, Will, and then we'll ask Marcelo because I already know what centre back Marcelo wants. What centre back would you bring in?
I mean, honestly, you got to go anybody, really, to be honest with you. I mean, Skriniar is a good choice. I think we kind of missed the boat on that, to be honest with you. I mean, he's middle age, 25, 26, just coming into his prime-ish. But now that he's week in, week out with Inter Milan, where he wasn't before, I just don't know if he's really
top of the league.
Come back. They have a chance if Inter ends up winning the Serie A, he's not going to be looking to move. So, honestly, I just really don't. I really don't know. I've really been focusing more on looking for a right winger. I think I'm not a huge, guy on defenders. My eye really catches onto attacking possession-based players. So like when Reguilon first came in, that first game when he played against Chelsea in the early stages of the Europa League, I was one of the first people on the We Are Tottenham TV channel to say, that guy's a baller. He should have been man of the match. Everybody was talking about him getting, sliding to the ground after,
that's he made it up with the assist.
Past him. And which I think that was more Sissoko and Tanguy's fault because the ball literally rolled right past their feet about half pace and they did nothing to stop it. But and then with we need a right winger really, really, really bad. Really bad.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've really been kind of scouting people and looking for different places that don't cost a lot of money. And like, Rodrigo's at Real Madrid, the Brazilian guy. I think he looks like he's really good class. I've also been looking if we were to sell Kane this summer, right, for 150 mil, like the rumors are going on, who would we bring in? And the problem that I have, if Levy is actually going to put that money back into players, which the way that they're making it sound is that's not what he's going to do. He's going to use it to pay off debt, which is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. If he does that, I don't even know if I can support the club anymore, right? Like if you sell the best player that's played in the last, 2 decades for Tottenham Hotspur, and then you don't invest that money back into the squad, would absolutely drive me insane. But the only other person that I would want to come in who I think could do the same type of job as that Harry Kane could do would be Holland, but he's not. His clause doesn't even come up until 2022. So what do you do for that year in between? I think you look at Ivan Toney. I think Ivan Toney would be a really good player. I've been watching the way his key passes, the way he drops deep and plays that long pass into people reminds me of the way Caden's played this year. And we could have picked him up for 5-10 million. And we're going to spend 35 million on Vinicius. I just don't understand what the club's doing. But go ahead and read that super chat because those guys are important.
Look, first of all, I fully agree with you. Honestly, if we sell Kane, for me, we have to put the money straight back into another world-class striker. Honestly. And it has to be world-class. None of this, going and fighting a Vincent Janssen or a Soldado and bringing them in You know, it has to be quality proven world class. And if it does happen, and Levy honestly doesn't put the money back into a top quality striker, I was going to say I'd go over there and polish his head, but no, that'd be too nice for him. I'd go over there and give him an absolute nuggie because it's not good enough. You know what I mean? Honestly, what is this guy doing with the club? But Marcelo, before I read the super chat, what centre back would you bring in?
Read out the super chat because I got I got some.
Yeah, no problem. So Bobby B again, big up Bobby. You're an absolute legend, lad. You're a hero. All this helps taking the Irish Hotspur to the very, very top. You know, with new videos and intros and stuff like that. This is why I love you guys. You're not afraid to say it as it is. No messing about. Definitely the best Spurs channel out there. Good work, guys. Thank you very much, man. I really do appreciate it. Absolute brilliant comment. You've made my evening, and I'm awarding you comment of the day. But Marcelo, take it away.
Look, as far as center backs, obviously Milinkovic, he's my guy. But honestly, we can sell Dyer and Sanchez. In my opinion, we can afford it if we get a partnership of Milinkovic and Kouende, or however you pronounce his name. No. Kouende from Sevilla.
Oh, yes. I know what you're on about. Yeah.
Absolute baller. That kid is an absolute baller. And if you look at Sevilla, they love a clean sheet. They've been getting a lot of clean sheets lately. I've been watching their, records or games. They're very good. They're very tight defensive unit. And as far as I'm concerned, Kouende, he would be a fantastic signing. And if you get that partnership between him and Milinkovic, I am telling you, that is Belgian Wall 2.0. That will be Belgian Wall 2.0. That will be Prime Jan and Vertonghen again. I'm telling you, bro, those guys would be class center back. That for me, already I set up like just looking at their styles and just looking at how they play and how they can help each other and how they have different attributes and how they could help the team. Milinkovic, one of the, very good at clearing the ball. Kouende, very young, hot prospect, got pace. He's very, very good center back. I think that could be a perfect partnership. And, they're both around 23, I think. So it could be a partnership for the future. So those two would absolutely transform our club. Honestly, if Levy said, and you know how much I love Sabbath Sauce, you know how much I love Koulibaly now, 29 years old.
He costs way too much.
He also costs way too much, and also I think his motivation, he's having some motivation issues, and I don't know if he'll be the right man for Tottenham Hotspurs.
We also have Arcadius Volkman here. He says that Koundé is on his way to PSG for 70 million next year.
Yeah, see, we missed it out. We missed out a big boat on him. But yeah, 70 million, it's crazy. So, I mean, for now, then I guess Milinkovic, because I can say Konat, but even then, my mind. You see, I'm very careful when I pick my center backs and my defenders. I'm very careful. I don't say he's the real deal. When I say he's the real deal, he's the real deal, bro. But I right now I'm Milinkovic. But oh man, Kouande would have been fantastic. He would have transformed the club.
Yeah, 100%. Will, I'm going to pass this one off to you. We have Gary Paul Speed. We need a new goalkeeper as well. By the way, Lloris is finished at Milan. Goalkeeper would do for free. Basically, he's alluding to Donnarumma and his contract situation. But honestly, Will, would you have any suggestions to put forward for a goalkeeper? Because honestly, that is a situation we do need to look at. Lloris isn't getting any younger. He's a year left on his contract. For me, he's already got his eyes on PSG. So, have you any goalkeepers that you'd throw into the ring apart from the likes of Nick Pope and people like that?
I'm not really a huge fan of Nick Pope. I know he's a great shot stopper and stuff like that, but Patricio from Wolves would probably be my first target if they let him go. And then Areola, who's on loan to Fulham from PSG. He's still real young, but right now, like shot save wise, I think he has the highest big chance save rate in the league so far. So in Fulham's current form, their big chances conceded rate is the same as it was in the first half of the season, but their defensive stats or goals conceded in XG is actually lower in the last 6 matches. So, and that's all because of his key saves. So I'm a bit FPL guy. I do, fairly well in that. And so I look at a lot of those stats specifically for goalkeepers, and he's one that I think you could give a look at. I mean, coming from another big European side, he's had some experience in some cup matches and stuff like that. Whereas Nick Pope, yeah, I think he's a good goalkeeper, but I just don't think that his distribution is not the same as Patricio and Areola, right? So their ability to Patricio really, honestly, is almost an Allison-esque type keeper. I mean, as far as his distribution, kind of sweeper keeper mentality. I mean, there were times when, he was coming out and just, slide tackling people outside the box, right? Almost playing like a right or a left back. So, I mean, he's just a really, I think that he would be one. Will they let him go, though? I mean, that's the question.
Yeah. For me, I was actually very surprised he ended up at Wolves because he was a good keeper. He's the Portuguese keeper, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a very good goalkeeper. I was very surprised he ended up at Wolves. That was true business by then.
Yeah.
I think he's Portugal's number one, right?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
My only issue with Rue is his age, but he's a quality keeper. I also think Henderson would be an option, and
he went to Man United this year, though, right? So number 2.
Well,
yeah,
but I think there's rumors where he wants to go because he feels like he's wasted at United, which he really is. I mean, he barely gets any game time. De Gea usually plays almost every game.
How old is
he? Shit.
How old is Patricio? Is he 28, 29?
Patricio?
Yeah.
Oh, Patricio, yeah, he's about. I think he's 30 now.
He's 34. I think he's 34.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah, he doesn't look like it, to be honest.
Good goalkeeper, though. He is a good goalkeeper. He keeps them in it most weeks.
Yeah, no, he's a very good. 33. Yes, I just looked up. Yeah, 33.
Same age as Lloris, then. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, goalkeepers' age. I mean, if you look at Andanovic for Inter, he's like 40 years old, and he's a class goalkeeper, man. He's class, still class. So.
I mean, Buffon played till he was like 45, right? So still playing.
Yeah. But for me, honestly, I think if Tottenham showed any ambition, look, I know there's going to be a lot of other clubs that are going to, go for this guy. But for me, if he showed any ambition, honestly, Tottenham should go at least try and make a punt for him. Put the question in his mind. You know what I mean? For me, that's what I do because Milan are in a position where if he doesn't sign that new contract, he's going to leave on a free basically, or they're going to have to sell him. So for me, Tottenham should definitely be putting in a bid and trying to turn his head. Because he's a goalkeeper you're going to have for the next 10, 12 years, and he's going to be at the very top. So for me, if I was Tottenham, I'd at least make a stab for it. Like when we signed Lloris, no one expected us to get Lloris. Every top club around Europe was looking at Lloris, but we got him. So why can't we do it with Donnarumma? And for me, you have to go and try and get the very best out there because, with our defence at the minute, there's no way you can afford to get a goalkeeper that's going to be shaky either because that's just asking to be relegated. So it is. But we have a super chat here from Wayne Winter. I love the show and the truth through all the rhetoric and the unfair anger towards Jose fans. Jose fans thinks he's on the field, not the likes of Dyer and Sanchez. Yeah, look, I fully agree with you, Wayne. You know what I mean? People don't want to talk about the mistakes the defenders are making, or to say, yeah, they're making mistakes, but Jose needs to do more with them. What more can the guy do? But lads, honestly, we're in a very worrying situation because we need a new goalkeeper, we need a new back line. Son and Kane are, definitely thinking about leaving. We need a right winger. You know what I mean? We're in a very, very bad situation, and we don't have the money.
Yeah. Well, I think too, to go back to those fans too, and as far as the people that we need, the trouble that we faced, all the goals that we gave away in the first half of the season when we were on top of the table all came from set pieces, right? So is that Jose's fault? The people are making mistakes and giving up free kicks inside our defensive third and then not defending the free kick that came from that? No, right? And even the ones now are all individual defensive mistakes, right? So I don't care how good the manager is. How do you expect the manager to say, oh, by the way, don't poke your foot out at a guy running through the box? Right. I mean, this is all stuff that you get taught at the U14 time period, right?
Yeah.
And the biggest problem with the transfer problem is that I'm telling you right now, if you watch the documentary and you look at the way that Daniel Levy was pining over Christian Eriksen to get him to sign another contract, that same Christian Eriksen, who, yes, was a great player for the club in 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 season, but from 18, halfway through the 18-19 season to the when he left, he couldn't clear the first man in a one-man wall.
Yeah.
Right? Like how my 14-year-old son can clear a one-man wall, right?
Yeah.
And he still has to look at the ball before he takes his kick, right? Like, I mean, I don't understand how a play, not only that, but his goals and everything just shut off and dropped. And people were like, oh, he's a great player. But then he goes to Inter Milan and can't get in the team there either, right? And everybody wanted to, and to me, it was like, I told you so, right? Christian Eriksen is washed up. And Daniel Levy wants to make so much money off these transfers that he's holding on to people for way longer than their value extends, right?
Yeah.
And he won't let them go. And so that's caused the problems that we have now. When was the last time that we as a club went in and did a big clean out? And that was when Poch very first came in. And that was it. And since then, we haven't let go of our outgoing sign. I mean, heck, we held on to Nakudo for like 3 seasons, right? So, I mean.
Yeah. Honestly, it's shocking. How did that guy even end up at Tottenham? Honestly.
You know, we signed him over Mane, right?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Him, who was Clinton and G at the time, remember him? Clinton and G?
I'm telling you, Levy has an emotional attachment to these guys, right? And that's why he's telling Jose. Look, you could see it on Jose's face, right? He's sitting there. Have you talked to Christian about maybe signing his new contract? And Mourinho's like, that's up to him, right? I mean, that was his whole thing, right? It was you got to get rid of these players when they're at their peak, not when they're halfway down the ladder coming back down to earth, right? That's where you're going to sell. And honestly, if we're going to sell Kane, this year or next year will be the year to do it. Like, I know people at Tottenham are like, Harry Kane, don't ever sell him, hold on forever. But do you really want to play Kane down to the point where he's, Llorente, right? Like, I mean, do you want to play him down that far and then
to the point where he has no ankles?
The one player that we could have used to bring in Erling Haaland, who in 2020, I say if we can get Kane to stay an extra year, that would be great, because then you sell him in the summer to Manchester City, which keeps them off from buying Erling Haaland, and then you put in his clause at 75 million euros, right? You sell him for 150 million, you take half of that, and you trigger Haaland's buyout clause, right? His contract clause. And then you don't have a loss. Now you have a guy who's 21, 22 years old who's working their way up, right? Because I can't think of anybody else who could replace Kane, but at Kane's level now.
I mean, the thing is,
what striker would you bring in?
Yep, but the thing is, the reason why I don't want to sell Kane is because I know this board, and I know they won't do that. I know they won't. They will not do that. They will sell Kane for 150 million,
and you get Chris Wood from Burnley.
Yeah.
No, you will. 15 million done and dusted. Same stature, same height, everything. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get Chris Wood from Burnley. Honestly, what Will was saying there about Eriksen was spot on, because it shows how much of a tightwad that Daniel Levy is, that he wants Mourinho to go and speak to Eriksen to sign a new contract when the guy can't take a corner kick and beat the first man for 2.5 fucking seasons. You know what I mean? I'm almost sure that Pochettino felt guilty sending Alvarado and Vertonghen up the corners, because honestly, all they were doing is going up there, waving at the opposition keeper and running back, because Eriksen couldn't be the first man. You know what I mean? But sorry, Marcelo. Go on. What were you saying?
No, he's just dying laughing because the truth is so bad it's hilarious, right? I mean,
we're in dark times here, lads. Honestly, this is a club with no direction at the minute. It's going to take a lot of money to fix it, and we don't have it.
I just don't understand. How anyone like Sim, I love that channel over there, but how can Sim still defend Harry Winks?
No, he's changing. He's changing slightly. He's starting to realize.
But he'll say,
I'm
"Yeah,
sorry,
we should sell it." Like I watched their thing today. Yeah, we should sell him, but I still think that he could be a good player. No, right? No. People talk about squad depth. Good player coming off the thing. Okay, here's the thing too. People don't realize this, right? Lamela comes in spurts, and I have hated Eric Lamela for at least 4 years now. At least 4 out of the 8 years, I've hated him for at least the last 4 years. Do you realize that after his big injury, where he was out for almost a full season, that season where he came back, he played in 30 appearances. Now, granted, not all of them were starting, but right, people say that Eric Lamela has a lot of energy and he runs a lot. But if you really watch him closely, he doesn't run that much. He runs this way, side to side across the field. He's never doing this, right? Yeah. He'll run short bursts of speed, side to side to side. If you look up the stats of kilometers run per 90 minutes, he had a lower rating than Hugo Lloris for the 18-19 season. No doubt. Average less than 2 kilometers per game. And that's per 90.
Half of Lloris's kilometers are racked up by going to get the ball for a goal kick.
Yeah, that's per 90. So that's not including the matches he didn't play in, right? So that's the time, only the time that he was on the pitch. If you watch, this is Eric Lamela's other problem too. If you watch him, he's good on the ball. He can do things and he can create things for himself. And this is Lucas Moura's problems too. But his head is down the whole time, and he can miss players to his left and to his right. Right? If you watch the goals he scored, it's because somebody else created that chance for him, or he beat 1 or 2 guys on the dribble and shot from outside the box. How many assists does Eric Lamela have in 8 years? People talk about the 16 goals he has, but how many assists does he have in 8 years?
Still, you have to pay him the clause that we had with Roma. Still, you have to pay that 20 goal clause.
Last time I checked, he has 7 assists in 18 years.
Not good enough. Not good enough. No, it's not good enough.
And then I would bet that a lot of those came off corner kicks from when he used to take corners under Pop.
Yeah. No, it's not good enough. It's not. Listen, I mean that. You can bring it for the thing.
Sing Lamela's praises. Don't you dare bang out Lamela. Right? You get hate. You get heat. Right? You can go back.
Yeah.
Tottenham banter page on Facebook and look at my comments about Eric Lamela back 2-3 years ago.
I mean, the thing is, Will, you're completely right about this fan base. Sometimes how we defend these shocking players. I mean, you can bring up that stat about Winks, running less than Lloris, but you know how these players will retort. They'll say, "Oh, he's a good squad player." You know what I mean? He's good. He's good. He's a decent passer and everything. When it's
he's
just
got
like
good energy.
He's got good energy. It's just.
Okay. Yeah, no, man. You go out and spend 20, or you go out and spend what you spent on him at the time. What was it, 30 million? You go out and spend 30 million for a bundle of energy. Give me a $5 an hour, and I'll give you a fucking bundle of energy. Do you know what I mean? Honestly,
I'm gonna tell you right now. I played, as far as football is concerned, I have played maybe 2 or 3 years in my life. But I'm 6'5", 200 pounds, with about 14% body fat. I could stand there on corner kicks and get 16 goals in 8 years. I'm telling you I could, regardless, just from my height. The ball comes in, put it in. I could score 16 goals. I could score 16 goals in the Premier League just because of my size in 8 years.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could. I mean, who out there is tall enough to ever even... I played basketball all the way up competitively, all the way up through university. I can jump, right?
No, I see the weight bars. You're fit, bro. You know what I mean? We believe you.
I can jump it. So I've got pretty good hops. You lob that ball in there, boom. And I just don't understand how people can look at Eric Lamela, and because he runs around, it's like this kid on my kids' team, right? Runs around, super energetic, everything. He's a brick wall. The ball, every time he kicks the ball, it's halfway, 8 yards to the right, 8 yards to the left, and everybody's like, "Yeah, he's such a great player." No, he's not, right? The little quiet kid in the corner whose pass percentage is this and that, and who plays through balls in over the top and creates big chances and creates goals and all these other things, assists. He's far better player than this guy who's running around like a
headless chicken.
Bunny. I mean, it's ridiculous how people can look at the game and then give American people crap for not knowing anything about football because they live in another country and have been a fan for 35 years. I'm sorry, being a fan for 35 years doesn't make you know anything about how the game should be played. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. No. And when you as a fan are coming off and saying, well, Eric Lamel is great and Harry Winks is great and Sanchez is an awesome defender, we need to stand up for him. It just lets me know you don't know what you're talking about, but yet you're willing to make fun of other people, like all the crap that Marcelo gets because of his accent. I mean, that's just...
honestly, that's one thing I actually do want to address. I just want to say something quickly, Marcelo. Look, this whole thing about people saying, slagging these American fans, at the end of the day, honestly, I wish half of our fan base was as passionate and knew as much about Tottenham as you guys over there do. Honestly, I do, because we have some right numpties over here.
Yeah, and as far as obviously, I think it's ridiculous to judge someone's football knowledge based on their accent, but at the end of the day, if you want to bring nationalities into it, as far as I'm concerned, I'm Brazilian, and put your 5 World Cups on the table, baby. We can talk about football. That's what I'm going to say.
Well,
what I mean?
Heritage-wise, I'm Scottish, right? Scottish in that. But even for America, right? It's really great too when a lot of people, right? Where are we at in the FIFA rankings compared to most of the teams in Europe? How many players do we have at the international level playing at top level clubs?
Some good players,
21. 21 players right now. I mean, you've got McKinney scoring at will over there in Juventus right now, and Christian Pulisic over for those.
What about that young lad, Reina at Dortmund? I know his father was American.
I mean, we have players first time for a long time playing at Barcelona. Our right back for the national teams playing over in Barcelona.
Dest.
Yeah. No, look, listen, it's all ridiculous. They're just trying to get a wind up, and you know what I mean? They don't really have any football points, so that's the only point they can make.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, we're talking about Winks. I saw this interesting article where he said he's interested about going La Ligas, and he's a big fan of the top clubs. You know what I mean? For me, that just shows the arrogance that these players have. I honestly think these players actually think that they're elite. I think, honestly, Davison Sanchez, Eric Dyer, Winks, I think they actually think they're elite level players. Because, but as far as I'm concerned, when Winks said that he's a fan of La Liga, the first club I thought about him going was like a club like Elche or Villarreal. It wasn't like Barcelona, but this man thinks he can get into like Barcelona, Real Madrid. Like, what? I don't understand the arrogance from these players. I don't know about you guys, but I don't get it.
Harry Winks definitely has illusions of grandeur, right? Because at a time he made some appearances at the World Cup because there wasn't really anyone else in his position that was up and coming at the time. He had gotten lucky with the success that Tottenham had in the 16-17 season and the 17-18 season, getting into that World Cup side in the first place, to be honest with you. I mean, it's like Kieran Trippier as well, right? But yeah, I mean, he has total illusions of grandeur because for him, and this is the thing, the people right now who are like the article today that came out in The Athletic that are going in and having private meetings and complaining to Levy. It's not Kane, it's not Son, unless they're liars, right? Because they've both come out in press conferences and said that they're on board with what Jose is doing, right? I guarantee you, it's the players who are struggling in or out of the side. It's Winks, it's Dele Alli, it's maybe Moussa Sissoko because he's no longer, the man holding down the back, right? Højbjerg's come in and stolen his Sissoko song that every time they win a match, they go back in the locker room and say, "Oh, Moussa Sissoko," right? I mean, those are the players that are the ones that are back there having these meetings, and because now you have a manager who has the balls to actually say you're crap.
Yeah, and you definitely know Winks is behind it because as soon as Pochettino was sacked and it was on the documentary, the first player that was sitting there going around to everybody was Harry Winks, like a little gossip girl. So you know he's 100% in it. Anyway, this guy Winks, right, he has the audacity to walk in to Jose Mourinho's office, which is at Tottenham Hotspur, may I add, and turns around and goes, "Boss, I want to play because of the Euros." And, this guy's supposed to be a Tottenham fan. So, for me, what it should have been is, "Boss, I love this club so much. We're struggling. I want to play. I believe I can help us. But no, what does he think? I'm Mr. England. I want to go to the Euros because Mr. Garrett wants to, Mr. Garrett loves me. Absolutely, Joe.
The man
It's
is
an
talking
absolute
about
joke.
playing. The man's talking about playing for Atletico Madrid with Trippier. Man, you couldn't get
let him
you
go.
couldn't
Let him
you
go. We'll
you
sell him 35,
that
40
guy.
minutes. Go.
Atletico wouldn't even want him, bro. Like he can't even defend. He gets bullied by. He could get bullied by me. Honestly, I would bully Winks. I would honestly like. I'm a physical person. You know what I mean? I've wrestled for like 8 years. I could easily
Yeah,
manhandle Winks. He's the softest player I've ever seen. Physically wise, he's so easy to bully. Imagine him in a club like Atletico where he's defensive minded. He will get absolutely run down by the likes of Messi and
And look,
and
I've got no problem. I've
Lorente.
got no problem with small stature players as long as they have an IQ. Harry
like Modric.
Winks' soccer IQ, football IQ is zero, right? It's absolutely zero. It's absolutely zero. If you notice, he stays in that half space the whole time. He runs in a straight line, an exact straight. If I've very rarely even seen him cut across to move the ball inwards. It's literally up and down in a straight line. He'll take a touch, he'll make a turn, he'll play it backwards, he'll play it sideways. Out of 10 passes, 3 of them might be an attacking pass, right?
Yeah.
Forward-looking pass. It's complete, absolute nothingness. But if you look at Reguilon, who's half his size, probably weight-wise, probably a good, 10 to 15 kilos lighter, is flying up, cutting in, cutting left, cutting right. You want to look at a player with a lot of energy that actually has a purpose, right? Look at Sergio Reguilon. And I'm telling you, that's,
Look at
For me,
Lo Celso. Lo Celso is about
maybe
the
who
same
I
size as
actually would
him.
compare Winks. I would actually compare Winks to a Luka Modric. You look at Luka Modric, similar stature, but look how good Luka Modric was. Look how good he was on the ball, and he never got out muscled. But lads, I have a super chat there I want to take, and then I have a question I want to bring up, and you can answer. Wayne Winter, Lamela is a card machine. Yeah, 100%. He's great. He's great for a card. But look, don't be setting Will off. But big up for the super chat, Wayne. Absolutely love it. But you don't want to be setting Will off. He's an absolute unit. He told you he's a unit as well. But look, we'll take Bobby's comment here. Guys, you're talking about our poor players, Dyer, Sanchez, Lamela, Winks. We have Roden, Toby, White, Skip on loan, and other good young kids. If Jones is so great, why does he keep on picking them?
I don't think he has a choice right now, right? And I think that, okay, here's another thing too. I'm willing to bet after watching the documentary that Daniel Levy sticks his nose into things far more than he should. I really do.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, it paid off on the Tanguy and Dombele situation, right? With, pretty much, Jose saying that he could just go if he wanted to go, and then Daniel Levy, no, you got to worry with it. I think he does that too much, right? And I think he's telling Jose, you need to play this player. You need to play this player. And then Jose's like,
you need to get Dele right.
I'll play that player. I'll show you what happens if I play that player, right? And I just don't think that people are necessarily looking at how these players are actually affecting the mentality of the team and the squad of the team. Because when I think the dressing room is probably split right now. And it's split between the players that are actually good and the players that actually aren't. And as far as Oliver Skip is concerned, as much fun as he's having over at Norwich, I don't think he's going to want to come back. I think he's going to ask him to put in a move for him to stay at Norwich, especially if they get promoted, right? Because he's playing week in, week out.
Oh, he'll come back. He'll come back. No, he'll come back. The thing is, people say, "Oh, why did he loan them out?" Because I think they needed to be loaned out. I think they needed, football experience before they come back to Spurs. Because if we just send them to the highest level, we see him with Rodon. Rodon has a lot of potential. I see a lot of potential with Rodon, but if we just throw him to the highest level, he's gonna get eaten alive. But let's see. In Ndombele season, 1 hour and a half of you've done is criticize the players. Balance your argument where Jose's criticism for being worse than Villa, Everton, and West Ham. And well, you must have missed the first half of the stream because we did go in on Jose and we did go in on the issues and we did say that he's also.
I'm not being funny as well. Look,
That's it.
I really do appreciate the super chat, but honestly,
do.
like, what do you expect me to sit here and do? Blow kisses at Dele Alli and the
Well,
rest
that's
of the
what they
squad?
want.
Let's blow kisses at them, encourage them, be a father figure. All they've done is given me a reason to criticise them. Believe it or not, I actually wiped the slate clean there the other day against West Ham, and all they've done was give me even more reason. Do you know what I mean? That's not my fault. That's on them. At the end of the day, if they want to, if people want me to sit here and praise them, well then get onto them and get them to win me games as well. Just with the Jose thing as well, end on Bele season. Look, we actually did speak about Jose for about the first, I'm going to say the first 45 minutes. I think we spoke about Jose Mourinho. We spoke about potential replacements. I actually said he could go if we lose to Burnley. You know what I mean? So to be fair, we have actually, not only just criticised the players, we have talked about Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
I have said he's sub-support. He has flaws like the rest of us. But anyway, thanks very much for the super chat and thanks very much for your comment.
But I will say this: looking at the Premier League,
and I value your opinion as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I value your opinion. But to answer his comment, looking at the Premier League right now and looking at all the squads, oh man, are there some good teams in the Premier League? Like some real, like Everton. He says like, oh, Villa, Everton, and West Ham, like because we're used to them being mid-table clubs, but like West Ham has got a good team. Everton has got a good team. Villa has got a very good team. You know what I mean? Like,
I'd argue that most of Villa's team are getting to our starting lineup right now.
No, honestly, and Villa's midfield are packed, man. And if you look at it, look at what Chelsea did to Atletico today, the leaders of La Liga. They absolutely played them off the park. Chelsea today absolutely tore up Atletico. Atletico did not even have a shot on target. It was an absolute shutout, and they're the La Liga leaders. If you look at what United did to Sociedad, they absolutely destroyed them. If you look at what sixth place Liverpool did to Leipzig, Nagelsmann, you know what I mean, the so-called next coming of Jesus Christ, you know what I mean, he got absolutely destroyed by a worn out Liverpool. You know what I mean? Like I think the Premier League this year is one of the most packed with quality and one of the most competitive leagues in the world right now. I think there's bar none a more competitive league right now than the Premier League. It is. I think honestly, the top 10 of the Premier League gets into the top 4 of almost any other league in the world. I honestly do.
Yeah.
I think that.
Yeah.
And I think that Jose's biggest problems he's having right now are that he's making some mistakes in team selection. There have been times when I've been very critical of some of the teams that he's chosen, especially. It's almost like he's fighting two battles. He has what he wants to do in his head, and he has to fight with what part of the locker room is complaining about, and he's trying to address both at the same time, and you can't. And I think that's where he's going to get himself into trouble. Where I think older Jose from 10 years ago would have done is he would have just laid down his foot and said, this is it, and that's it. And he's not now he's trying to, I mean, he said it in his press conference today, right, that he's trying to be a little more, less emotional and less more pragmatic. And I think that's hurting him because you have a team, and the teams that are doing well is because they have balance, right? Balance is the most important thing in football, period. You can have an average team.
Absolutely.
But if you're well balanced, you can beat teams with a lot better players, right? You can do that.
Yeah.
For me, though, where I struggle on that is, like, I 100% get what you're saying, but like, if these players that he puts his trust in makes mistakes, you know what I mean, and then he tries something different, like people were calling for, and he does that, like, and these other players then come in and make mistakes, it's hard to find that balance.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right, but you gotta play players in their own positions, right? Like, you can't look at the past. Like, people are saying, I've said it on either this channel or other channels before in super chats. It was a huge mistake to play Son in the number 9 spot in the current system that we're playing, because that doesn't appeal to Son's skills, right? Son is a finisher. He's fast. He makes good diagonal runs, but he doesn't drop in deep. He doesn't support. He doesn't lay off people. He's not that. I've seen him play number 9 for the Korean national team far more than I've seen him play number 9 for Tottenham. And I'm telling you, he is not that type of player. He's a target man striker when he plays in that number 9 spot. It's got to be into the box. Ball's coming into him with his back to goal. He'll make a good turn and he'll shoot off his left foot, even though he's right-footed. I mean, that's his style, right? He's not going to, and that's why when he did it under Pochettino, it worked. Completely different system, right? He had Eriksen feeding those balls into him. He had, guys on the left or the right, either Lamela playing on a winger. Lamela is not a center midfielder either. He does okay on the wings. That's where that energy is a lot more useful. I don't like seeing him in that number 10 spot. I've said it a million times. Lo Celso, when he comes back,
who would you play there?
Mora's got a player right now. The 3 times that he's done it, West Brom, I mean, even against Everton, it worked really well. It really did. It was he's probably the best option in that spot right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And then Lamela, I think you play a 50-50 mix of Lamela and Bale on the right? And that's your thing. I would start with Bale and bring in Lamela on after Bale gets tired. That's what I would do.
For me, Will, I think that Jose doesn't like playing Lucas in down through the middle is because, if we're honest, he does lose the ball a hell of a lot, and it's a sin to lose it in the middle than what it is out wide. And I think that's maybe why Jose prefers to play Lamela in there as well. Lamela has the vision to be able to play the balls over the top where Lucas doesn't. Lucas is more of a head down and run and drive player. So, look, I can see what you're saying, and I agree. Lucas has done well there, but that's against smaller teams. For me, look, the whole thing is, I agree with what you're saying, but for me, we need someone to fill in that position properly. We need to buy someone for that position, someone that's an expert at it.
Well, I mean, if Dele would ever decide to play again, I mean, we could put him there. But he was never really he was never really a creative player either. He's more of a second striker type of player.
Yeah.
That's the way he always was. And, I think Lo Celso is obviously a huge miss. But we definitely need a backup in that. If Ndombele is going to continue to play in an 8 spot, right, or in that holding mid position in the double pivot, we need that. We need a backup for that number 10 spot. And right now we don't have it. We don't.
Yeah.
After Lo Celso got hurt, that was it, right? We don't have a number 10 right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a huge thing. And going on with Wayne on a super chat there, I'm not sure who he's talking about. So if he could.
That was about the Lamela. That was about Lamela when he put in the Lamela comment, and I said he's about to wind you up. That's what that's about. But big up Wayne as well. Good up Wayne. Good banter. Thanks very much for the super chat, man. Really do appreciate it. Sorry, Will, my man. No offense, but we both know he's crap. He's about Lamela. Look, it could also apply to Winks either. You never know. But Marcelo, what do you make of of what Will was saying about playing Lucas Moore in the number 10 and playing Lamela wide?
I think it is better than Lamela. I think Lamela, he just doesn't seem to really know how to pass very well. He just holds on the ball for way too long. I think Lucas has a better pass than him, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it's a success record also proves it. I think he just has a better vision than him, but he's definitely not the answer. But I can see what Will is talking about. Wait until Lo Celso comes back. Wait until he's fit. It's better just to play Lucas there. He can do the job for now. Personally.
Oops, frozen up.
The vision and I think he definitely has the vision. I think he definitely has the vision and the passing. You know what I mean? To play that number 10 role. I think Bale could do it if there's anybody to do it.
He's got 90 minutes in his legs.
As far as that, yeah. But the thing, that's actually true. But the thing I want to say to Will, and the point I agree is, we are not a balanced squad right now. That anybody that ever gives you slack for your accent, they don't know anything about football, man, because you made a great point, and is a point I've been trying to make this whole entire time. Football is about balance, and we need to find. I've been saying since we were top of the league, we need to find a balance defensively and offensively. And I thought Sissoko could have been the guy, because he provide that
Yeah,
extra defensive work in the midfield. You and I, David, would always talk about the
yeah,
balance he provided, and he was bringing balance. He was bringing extra solid
yeah.
defensive unit, but he stopped playing. He's just stopped playing for Jose. I don't know what happened, but he just stopped playing. I guess he didn't like the role. But after that, because if you look at us right now, like if you look at our front three, right, we got Kane and Son. They're like a
Yeah,
Ferrari, man. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They're as fast as you go. And then you look at the midfield. You know what I mean? You got 10 guy, you got Hoiberg. You then also got Lo Celso's coming back soon. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got Lucas there. That's a good midfield. You know what I mean? That's a midfield that you can work with, right? That's a very good midfield, solid midfield. But then you go to defense, and it's just like the quality goes from here to like here. You know what I mean? It just
yeah.
plummets down, and then you go to
See,
the defense.
that's where like the balance. You need a whole team to be able to get the balance, but like it's impossible when you have the defense we do.
Yeah, yeah. And if you and Arian made a great point. He's like every time the whole game, he was like, every time we cross the ball, I always expected us to score, but then I remembered that West Ham has a defense and they actually cleared the ball because, like, I keep forgetting they don't have our defense because it's just
Yeah,
like the way we just get split open is just so easy. I've never seen
yeah,
a defense just get split open so easy. It's just like we make like if you look at that Lingard goal, there was like easily like 5 or 6 defensive mistakes. Lloris doesn't come out of his box. Dyer, just gets spun by Lingard. Sanchez is playing Lingard onside, who was in an offside position. If Sanchez was in, keeping the line, he would have played Lingard offside. And Doherty just completely ball watching. Or was it Doherty? I think it was Doherty. Yeah, completely ball watching, not even doing anything. Like that's like 5 defensive mistakes all in a second, in a
yeah.
millisecond. It's just like that's
I'm,
impossible, man. I've never seen a defense this that's just brain dead.
Like the
I
thing
disagree
is,
with you guys a little bit on the defensive side, and I think that's where we kind of differ. I think that Dyer, when he plays next to Toby, is okay. I don't think he may not be excellent, but I think that first, the first 12 to 13 game weeks, I mean, after Reguilon got injured, I had Dyer in my fantasy team for a while, and I was getting clean sheets a couple of weeks in a row. I mean, I think that it's that once Toby was out of the squad, and it was Dyer
But the thing
alongside
is,
other people,
we can't
mistakes. And now
like,
it's Dyer out and other people alongside Toby, mistakes. I think Dyer could be a good squad defender, a good rotation defender. That's why I think that one world class, we've got Rodon, which he is showing promise. You got Rodon, Dyer, Tanguy, that those guys, you can find a partnership with one really good leader, kind of like they have at Liverpool with Van Dijk and Gomez, right? You saw after Van Dijk went out, people stopped talking about Gomez, right, being a great defender. But when he was playing alongside Van Dijk, people were looking at him like, oh, this is a great pairing. This is a super stellar pairing. I think that one key player is so, and what I like to call, especially for balance, the most important thing in balance is the spine, right? So your keeper, your senior center back, right? The main master guy back there, your number 6, your number 10, your number 9. And the other people around the outside, the peripheral players, can be crap, right? As long as you have that with Liverpool in their championship season, right? It was Alisson, Van Dijk, Henderson, Wijnaldum, right? Salah and Mane, right? That was their spine, right? They could throw in other guys to play in the outside 8 spots or wherever they were doing, and it didn't really matter, right? As long as you had Fabinho or Henderson in the side, you can have players that necessarily aren't world class as long as you have a world class spine. In my opinion, I think the spine is important.
I get what you're saying on the Toby and Dyer point, Will. But the thing is, like, that was working until November, and then all of a sudden, Dyer just started playing crap. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is, Jose persisted with Dyer. Alderweireld ended up picking up an injury, so there's nothing you could do with that. You know what I mean? But like,
And you can't
the
play
thing
Toby
is
for
no
too many
matter
games.
who he picks, it's shocking.
Yeah.
It's shocking. And there's no spine to the team when you don't have a centre back pairing. Because let's face it as well. Toby's been poor when he's played recently. He's been very poor as well. And for me, like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like no matter who you put in along that back line, whether it's Ben Davies, Doherty, Aurier, you know, then you go into centre back, you have Roden, Alderweireld, Sanchez, Dyer. They've all made absolute calamity mistakes. And like, you know, like Jose can set his team up with balance. Like, but when you go out like you did against West Ham and you concede within the first 5 minutes, then he tries to change it. He brings on Doherty and stuff like that to try and create a better balance in the team. And then 5 minutes into the second half, we concede again.
But what I want to know too is a lot of these fans, how can they support Ben Davis at all? Under Pochettino, he had a hard time getting into cup sides, right?
Yeah.
It was Danny Rose, he doesn't even have a number right now, a squad number, and especially the last couple of years, it was Ryan Sessegnon in and out for Rose. Ben Davies had a hard time getting into cup sides with Pochettino. So how are they expecting him to be week in and week out? Like, I think Ariane's great. I've been on a lot of shows like this where he's come on and talked, and we've been in the back room talking, blah, blah. I don't understand how you can have your Twitter handle as Ben Davies on Twitter, because he's never been
shocking
good. Never.
He's shit. Honestly, he's the worst left back I think I've ever seen. Honestly, I'm right-footed and I can do a better job at left back. Marcelo, do you want to come in on what Will was saying there about the balance in the back line and then about Ben Davies as well?
I can see maybe the point he said about Dyer, but I think what happened with Dyer is I said that Toby was carrying him throughout that good patch we had.
Oh, you're dropping in and out there, Marcelo.
Dropping in and out, man.
Yeah, I think my internet is. Hold on.
Oh, we can hear you there now. So if you want to keep going, you're back now. You're back now.
Then he froze up as soon as he said something.
Okay, yeah. So as I was saying, I think with the whole Dyer, thing. I don't know.
Oh, he's gone again. He's gone again.
He's gone now.
He's coming back. He's coming back. But no, Will, look, fully, I take your point on board. I fully do understand what you're saying. Like, when it comes to balance, like, I agree with you. But like for me, it's hard to find balance when no matter who you put in at centre back or in the full back positions to try and generate a bit of a reaction, a bit of a performance, which then in turn create the balance. It's hard when no matter who you put in, they're not doing the job.
Yeah, and I think that too the biggest issue is here's another critique that I have with Jose's. I don't think that he's adventurous enough. Right, and a lot of people who gave Frank Lampard some crap about his situation, but at least he was adventurous to come in and play a lot of these guys. If you're having problems, right? If your most experienced defenders are having issues with confidence or keeping their head on straight or staying focused, take them all out of the side and throw in Tanganga and Roden, right? I mean, just throw them both in there. And let him do it, because it can't get any worse, right? What we're experiencing now can't get any worse. So why not?
You're disrespecting Marcelo by saying Roden. It's the Welsh Maldini when you're around Marcelo.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's Welsh Maldini.
Right? Now that Tanganga's back, there's no reason not to, right? There's no reason not to, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, Matt Doherty, however you want to, we say Doherty here in the U.S., but.
Doherty, you're right. You're right.
He's not a good player, but at least he's not full of mistakes. At least he's not full of mistakes. Yes, he may not be fancy. He may not be. But I would rather have a player who at least has his head on right. Right. Maybe he's just not feeling it he's old, right? He's getting old, right? And honestly, for right backs, I think right backs, after you turn 26, you should just retire, because you're doing in the modern game, you're just doing too much running. It's too much running, right? I can guarantee you. There's a lot of positions that in my adult league that I play in, that me at 40 years old, I can play, right? I can play center back. I can play goalkeeper. I can even play the number 10. I can play number 9, right? I can't play 7 or an 11, and I can't play a 4 or 5, right? Or 3 or 5. I can't play fullbacks, and I can't play wingers. It's just too much running. I can't play a number 8, box to box. Too much running. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I was in the military for 6 years, smoked a lot of cigarettes. I just can't run back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
Marcelo, before you ducked out there, what were you about to say? And then after you've had your say, I'll take that super chat from Dtrex Kane and then we'll end it. But what were you going to say, Marcelo, before you ducked out with the internet?
I think the thing is, I don't know what's going on with my internet, bro. My internet, it's just StreamYard for some reason. I went to check, but I was gonna say, can you hear me now? What I was gonna say about Eric Dyer was, I predicted what was gonna happen to him, and I said he's not a good defender. I was gonna say he's not a good defender, and I said that Toby was carrying him, and there's so long that Toby can carry this guy. He's not. I don't rate Dyer. I think he misses a lot of. He doesn't do the basics right, and when you can't even do the basics right, I don't see a chance of you becoming Joe Gomez. I know what you're saying. Well, you can be maybe a Joe Gomez, but Joe Gomez can do the basic rights. You know what I mean? He can pass from the back. He can do the things, and I would agree with you if Dyer had decent passing and everything, but he doesn't. Like when I watched him play, I'm like, this guy doesn't have a clue how to play football, man. Like, and I was like, Toby is saving his ass so many times. So many times he's saving his ass, and I could just see it, especially from the back. You know what I mean? And then as soon as other teams are seeing it, you can see. As soon as other teams saw it and pinpointed that out in the back line, you can watch after that. A lot of teams started pressing Toby a lot more to try to get the ball to Dyer, because they know Dyer's just gonna launch the ball back to the enemy team. That's what he always does. He just launches pass. You know what I mean? In the back line. You need a guy that has a passing ability. If you don't, you're never going to be a top team. Never. And Dyer can't pass. He couldn't cross a road, let alone a ball. So it is what it is. You can't pass a simple math test. He just doesn't seem like a smart. Yeah. No. I get what you're saying. And look, listen, he can have his good games. Like I agree with you. I would be fine with having him at backup. You know what I mean? He does have his odd, very good games, but it's just like he just doesn't seem like a smart defender. He doesn't seem like a guy that just has a fundamentals.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I see. If
that was it. That was my whole point.
If that's the whole weakness, though, why aren't we playing a back three more often? Right? If our defense is such shambles right now, why aren't we playing 3 at the back?
But we've tried a back 3 in a couple of games, like Sheffield United, that worked. But like it's only Sheffield United. But in a couple of other games, we have tried it, and it just, for me, it doesn't work. It doesn't suit the players we have. For me, honestly, look, for me, when we're playing that back 5, I think we struggle to get the ball up the other end. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't suit, because no matter who you play there, you're going to get mistakes. Like look what happened against Liverpool when we went back 5 in the home game. We got absolutely pulled apart. You know what I mean? Our players just aren't capable. For me, honestly, what I'd say is go back and play the same way we started playing at the start of the season when we were winning games. You know what I mean? The reason why we were playing like that is because Jose was ahead of the curve. He knew the defenders weren't good enough, so he set the whole system up and the whole team up to help out the defenders and eliminate as many goals as possible. And, then fans weren't happy with it. And, Mourinho did say, I think I heard Marcelo say this, that, Mourinho did say before on Sky Sports that, when he comes back to managing, he will listen to the fans and try and give them a bit more what they want. And, for me, I think he's done that, but he's done that to detriment of himself, to be honest with you. For me, you go back, you play the pragmatic way until the end of the season, and then you take it from there and see what the board want to do. But look, lads, I'm going to take Dtrex Kane's super chat here, and then we'll round it up because we've been going for 2 hours now, and Will, you've been on for an hour as well. Yeah. Big up yourself as well for coming on. I really do appreciate it. Anytime. But Dtrex Kane, by Milinkovic, Botman, Aarons, Michael Olise, he plays with Redden, and Dean Henderson said Dyer, Sanchez, Davies, Doherty, Ali, Enoch, Steve Hitchin, and the medical department. No, honestly, yeah, I'd love to get him Milinkovic. But man, don't know too much about him. I just know he's a left-footed centre back, which is rare nowadays. And we have Max Aarons. Yeah, Max Aarons I'm a big fan of, but look, looks like he's on his way to Bayern Munich. Honestly, I've seen him at Redden. Decent player, but is he the answer to what we need right now? No, but look, honestly, this guy would be a Steve Hitchin, Daniel Levy wet dream. Bring him in. He's young. You know what I mean? You can sell him, develop him, sell him on for profit. So he'll give Levy a hard on. Make no mistakes about that. And then Dean Henderson. Look, Dean Henderson. For me, the jury's still out on that one. I'm not 100% convinced. But do any of you want to add anything to that comment there before we sign off?
Yeah, I agree with everybody who wants to sell. You could say I have a little more grace for Dele than I think you guys do sometimes. Simply for the fact that he's been out for so long. And he did come off a very short injury or whatever, too. So, granted, he does give the ball away a lot. But that's how he plays. And when he played really well under Pochettino, like 17-18 season, he was doing that then too. He was just not giving it. It was those flicks and tricks and through passes were actually hitting the target, whereas now they're not, right?
But the back end of Poch, they weren't either. The back end of Poch, he was very poor as well.
Sure, yeah, the very end, last couple of years of Poch too. But I think that had more to do with him struggling to manage. I think that as he gets a bit older, when you're young, you have a heat of fire because you want to get inside, right? You want to make your name for yourself. And then once he made the name for himself, with his Lion clothing brand or whatever it was, I think he kind of lost focus on what his real target was. That'll come back though, especially once he realizes my ship is sailing, right? And I need to. But that comes with age. I mean, everybody knows, right? Even me myself, right? Up until probably 21, I was probably a fairly well-behaved guy, right? But then you hit 21, and you're going out to the bar and the clubs, and you got the ladies, right? From 21 to 24, I was an absolute tool, right? Like so. But then you start to hit 25, 26, you start to get your head back, right? You start to, focus on the task at hand. And I just think it's part of his development that he had to go through, especially when you hit success at such a young age. But I mean, I don't want to go on about that for too long, but I think that we just need to give Dell a little bit of time. But other than that, I'd sell all of them.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I agree with you with the rest. Look, I disagree on the Dele Alli thing. For me, I think it's of his own making. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's his fault that he has limited chances, and it's up to him to make sure he comes in and takes the most of them. But I loved hearing your opinion, Will. Marcelo, have you anything to add before we sign off? Oh, I think Marcelo's
goes out. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so look.
Yep.
Look, guys, we're going to end it off there. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks to the Harris Army for watching, and anyone that's new, make sure you smash that like, smash that subscribe. A massive big up to Will for jumping on. A massive big up to Marcelo as well. Make sure you get in the comment section and put in your appreciation for these two guys. They absolutely know what they're talking about. Brilliant guests, and we'll definitely have the two of them on together again for you, and you can get your questions in and ask them. But look, roll on tomorrow's game. Should be a nice, easy win. Might lift some people's mood. I hope this therapy did. In Jose we trust. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.